All right, so we are recording. So we are on session 10 of the Four Dagger Core LLC, Four Dagger Core Investigations LLC. So it's been a few weeks, so just to recap, during the last session, you guys finally made it into the cogs and started making your way down towards Kyber's Gate. Um, just before entering the cogs, and as also a quick reminder, before going into the cogs, you guys had that encounter with the bugbears who tried to kidnap Cass and also almost succeeded in kidnapping Solana. Um, but they were all mercilessly killed. And I think that the watch actually came to investigate, but based on the reports and everything, they kind of let you go and figured you guys were doing the city a service by killing these vagrants. I can't remember if that's exactly what happened, but it happened now. Uh, so then, just before entering the cogs, you were met by a little halfling rogue by the name of Dag Nabbit, who introduced himself. I don't remember exactly what details Dag revealed to the party. So, Dag, if you want to do a quick recap on who you are and
Oh,
what you may have told people about your character.
I don't think I held much back. He came from, he was an orphan staying in the J home, or the House of Wayward Youths, funded by the House of Jarasco. And he was raised there. He's a orphan of the raptor side that I made up, and
It is now canon.
rescued by, thank you, and uh, rescued by missionaries and brought missionaries, but then they sold into the House of Jarasco and the Baramar clan, raised and ran, basically did pickpocketing of tourists, and raised on the streets, has a lot of contacts. The orphanage is right there in Precarious, and but he reached his age of adulthood, and on his birthday he was given, his time was up, and he graduated from the House of Jarasco. He still has a fondness for the house. However, he was happy and looking for a chance to do something other than pickpocketing and working the streets. And so he met up with Varys, and and befriended Varys. And when he learned that Varys was going to go off and search for, was the ability to turn into water, I think I made up, right? I asked him if I could get a recommendation into the 4DCILLT, and he wrote out a note recommending me for that I could join the group, and that's, I tracked you guys down, and you let me hang out with you for a while, and then we went on this little adventure. And I understand we're looking for some statue, an eye, a hand, something like that.
Yeah. Just a little addition. It's fairly common knowledge that the Boromars are. It's an open secret that they are the criminal masterminds that puppet a lot of the government, to the point where people consider making payments to the Boromars almost like as normal as paying taxes. So it's something that people don't talk about, but also it's not that big of a secret. Their exact operations and everything are, and who is a member and who is not, maybe, but that's fairly common. And so once you guys met Dag and it kind of accepted him into the group after reviewing the letter, you guys headed down into the cogs. Walking through the cogs, it was really hot. It was difficult to breathe because there was lots of smoke and sulfur in the air, because down there is a lake of lava, which is thought to be linked to Furnia, which acts as the power source for a lot of the foundries that operate down there, as well as some of the operations that provide for heating and energy production for throughout Sharn. It's also a place where there are numerous warforged. So you walked through that area, and then eventually you got to another area far deeper known as Kyber's Gate. And in Kyber's Gate, it really is almost like an underground city where much of it is carved out of the rock in tunnels. It's the population is much more varied than you're used to encountering up in the lower district or even middle district. There's many more monstrous races, and the people that stay there typically don't stay there by choice. They may be running from the law, or they may have been born into extreme poverty, or in Solana's case, gladiators in the arenas that you may find. And so you were coming down here to meet proprietors of a kind of soup kitchen that Brendan's character, whose name I'm blanking on, recommended might be able to help in terms of knowing what's going on. Kess. In terms of where to look for finding this goblin with one eye, who might be the person to seek about the statue fragment of the eye that you found down in Fallen, which is going to be a very large payday if you can get that back to KLS, who originally hired you for all of this. Basically amounting to potentially, if you can do that and also provide the location of the full statue, would net you 6,000 gold pieces, or Galifar. And so you guys encountered the soup kitchen people and were able to speak to them and get more information about where this Gerdrun is. And then along the way, you encountered some street people. One was a group that was attacking a Warforged and basically pulling him apart. You guys intervened, trying to save the Warforged, but as one of the people ran off, they made sure to stab the Warforged in one of its vital areas, as its chest piece had been pulled off, and one of them got away, but the others you took care of. And then there was the strange-looking elf from Arenal with the large ogre acting as a personal bodyguard or of some sort, carrying luggage, looking lost. And then finally you came across a street performer who appeared to be a changeling and did tricks in, like, taking turns looking like each of you. And once he went to look like Dag, suddenly his demeanor changed. He summoned over his Minotaur companion and then outed Dag as a member of Boromar, and a fight ensued. And then it became revealed that the changeling also happened to be a were-rat. Who, would have been Jofar's worst nightmare had it not been terribly injured by Sharp, and then realized that Sharp was the bigger threat. That was taken care of. You guys were pretty badly injured from that fight, especially because the Minotaur seemed to have the ability to throw people around and knock you into walls and knock you into each other. And this were-rat was spitting and playing dirty. And then you guys made your realizing that there were possibly going to be people coming after you after all of that. Solana led you to Shamukar, which is kind of like neutral territory here in Kyber's Gate. It is a bar, tavern, butcher shop, general shop, and it is well known that anybody that breaks the rules of no violence and all of that, there is very severe penalties. So everybody respects it. Even the organized criminals respect it. Bormars respect it. Dask respect it. Many of the other organizations that operate out of Kyber's Gate respect it. And so you guys managed to negotiate with the barkeep, who was willing to provide room and board for an exorbitant amount of money, which you guys paid because you were able to get a pretty good amount of money off of the bodies of one of the individuals that you fought. And then, so you got into your room, started taking care of your own things. Dag made sure to reverse lockpick the door in some way to make sure that it would not open easily. And now you guys begin your new day, having received a long rest. It is now the 9th of Zarantar, and you, as all of you awaken and come to your senses, you realize one of you's missing.
Mm-hmm.
And after each of you counting yourselves, you realize, hey, Sharp's not there.
What?
Uh-oh. Is the chewing gum still in the lock that blocked it?
Yeah, so that's because the first thing that Dag would do when he wakes up, he'd be checking the lock. He'd be working on the lock to make sure we could get out. Mm-hmm. And so I go up to, is it still locked?
Yeah, so first of all, you do remember very distinctly that Sharp was in the room before Dag locked the door.
Okay, I remember that.
And then Dag, you're looking over the lock, and as far as you can tell, it doesn't appear to have been tripped or altered, and it's still keeping the door shut. And it takes you a few minutes of working with it to actually undo what it is that you did to it. Mm-hmm. At which point it opens fairly easily.
Well, he didn't go out through this door. Does he have any magics that can make him teleport? Or how do we have a window? Where's the window?
Have you checked the bar downstairs?
Well, how'd he get out of the room?
We should probably look at all the gutters in the alleyway, see if he's lying in the gutter somewhere.
Is there a window?
No windows. Everything down here is carved out of rock, so windows are a luxury. And you guys specifically asked for a room that was easily defendable.
We
Where's
could check
that
the bar.
little goblin at? Have you seen him?
Uh-oh.
I figured those two had something going.
Do you think they're?
Guess we should go check the bar.
Yeah, go downstairs and check the bar.
When you open the door, you find Sharp is just passed out in front of the door.
What?
Sprawled
just
out.
as I expected.
We should drag him inside and wash him up.
You got any ale or something? Got some water?
Well, I'm sure that we'd have a bucket of water in the room.
Yeah. Okay, I grab the bucket and dump it on him.
It is not good-looking water.
It doesn't matter. He's good. He's tough enough.
The chamber pot.
I'll check his pulse, make sure he's alive. And just feel over his mouth, to make sure his chest is moving.
He is breathing. He is breathing. Even after the water getting dumped on him, though, he doesn't. It doesn't seem to be enough to rouse him from his slumber.
I use my cleansing stone to clean him up immediately.
I just sit on his belly and start going through his stuff. What's he got on him? His cloak, his what kind of weapon? Does he have a coin purse? Not that I'm stealing.
Right.
Dag is not a thief. He just likes to.
I still wouldn't have a weapon. I summon my weapon to my hand when I need it. So I wouldn't have had it on me. But
Look.
I have a brooch and an amulet and a tunic. I have a lot of things. My hat. My most valuable possession is my hat.
Yeah, I'll put that on. No, I got my. Yeah, I'll put that on. My other hat's probably still with my stuff. Yeah. Oh, it's
that actually, as you go to put it on, that probably would wake me up enough to grab you by the wrist. My eyes still closed.
He's okay. And I put the hat back over his face and back off.
I'll say, Dag, you, as a rogue, you would notice that is impressive what Sharp just did, because his eyes were not open at all, yet he was able to grab your wrist exactly where it was without noticing, or without, before you could grab it.
And I'll put my hand over his eyes like, wow.
Well, now they're open, probably.
Yeah.
Oh, well, there you go.
Sharp, who beat the shit out of you?
Oh,
You don't
good
take
morning.
the man's hat. And I put my hat back on.
Well, at least it's not the gutter.
You might want this too, and this, and this. You have some neat stuff.
You didn't find any.
I start snatching things away from him, putting it back in my pack.
You didn't find any paint or paintbrushes in there, did you?
I don't know. Did I?
No.
Good.
Sharp, why were you covered in blood? And why were your clothes ripped?
I start checking my clothes.
Would I notice anything with my passive perception? That's 13.
Outside of what Solana just pointed out, nah.
Yeah. All right.
Is it from the bucket?
No, I think this is before pre-bucket.
So I yawn and stretch.
Where were you
Where do
last
we?
night?
How'd you get out?
Yeah, you probably don't want to ask. He's covered in blood. We don't want to know these kind of things. Keep them to yourself.
I really want to know. How did you get out of the room?
What was her name?
I don't really remember how I got out of the room, although that's not the first night I don't remember.
Do you remember how you wound up covered in blood?
No.
No.
I probably needed a drink. There's not a lot to drink in that room except for the crummy water bucket.
There was blood on
Or
the
maybe
house,
there
Sharp.
is, but unlike some of us, I don't just rifle through other people's belongings when I realize they're asleep.
Sharp, there was blood around your mouth. Are you a vampire? Because that would be so fucking cool.
I'm 100% sure I'm not a vampire.
Open your mouth, prove it. Let me see your teeth.
I don't know. If I was a vampire, I'm not sure I'd admit it.
So we are in a hallway, right? Is there other doors and stuff? Is this like an inn
An
or
inn.
something?
Yeah, there are other doors.
Okay. Anyway, I just scan the hallway for anything written in blood.
No, nothing else. No other signs of blood or anything anywhere.
Sharp, check to see if your coin purse is still on you. Quickly.
Oh, here it is.
Becky, that's got a weird monogram on the coin purse. Who the hell is JC?
Well, either we make our way back to the office, or we continue on to find the goblin. Might as well continue on to find the goblin, I figure.
Let's find the goblin.
We're already here.
Although now we're probably wanted by a lot more people.
Oh, we have to get enough money to get a new place to live after you got rid of our old one anyway.
Oh, yeah, you guys only have 30 days to find a new place before, since you've refused to pay any more.
Maybe I should disguise self. I could put on my do the disguise self like I'm a goblin. That's about the same size, I think.
You have remind me, do you have a hat to disguise or anything, or is this
No, it's just I have
or a disguise kit?
I have a disguise kit, right?
Okay. So give me do you have a mirror?
Might there be one in the room?
Mm-mm. It's
I
not
should
that
also-
classy of a place.
I should also state that I have a disguise kit and am proficient with it as well, so I could do him.
In fact, the reason for the bucket was because that was your bathroom.
No,
Yep.
no.
Chamber bot.
Yeah. I just knew there was liquid in it.
All right, so give me a disguise kit check using intelligence.
Perhaps Sohana could help me if he's proficient also.
Yep. Proficient, and I have one.
Okay, you can do that rather than disadvantaged because you don't have a mirror to check yourself over. You can do it just normal.
An intelligence check?
Yeah,
All right, +1.
with proficiency for your disguise kit.
So 16.
Okay. So looks pretty good. If a person was just kind of glancing at you from like 10, 20 feet away and not looking too closely, you could probably pass as a goblin.
Okay, because the Das clan that rules down here, not very friendly with, as we found out, not very friendly with the Barmore clan, and the Barmore clan is almost exclusively halflings. So that's probably why they just assume any halfling is part of the Barmore clan.
I have a sneaking suspicion that all of our descriptions are out there floating around.
Good.
So
I'm not afraid.
I'd suggest we just be quick about it.
Okay, gather our stuff and let's go.
Okay, so based on what you were able to gather from the conversation with the proprietors of the soup kitchen, you have a general idea of where this person is. The one thing is, though, because you guys are possibly wanted or people of interest down here, you will need to make 2 successful checks. Not necessarily stealth. Something that you're proficient in, though, that is and describe kind of like in Kurt's game with the overland travel, but instead of how you are getting through the city, it's more of how you are keeping a low profile.
Well, I do have disadvantage on all of them, so that's nice.
So you may not want to volunteer for
Yeah.
trying to check.
Yeah.
Well, Dag might sneak from like dark shadow to shadow, doorway to doorway with his sneak ability.
So that would help you.
Yeah, that's right. That would help me.
But you guys are traveling as a group.
But I could
Right.
check around corners and see if paths are clear. perhaps.
Okay. So kind of acting like a scout.
Right.
Okay. So that'll be the first check, and then what is who wants to make the next one, and what kind of thing are you going to attempt?
I mean, I'll make the next one. To the extent it looks like anybody maybe recognize us, I'm going to use deception to go up and explain that we just got down here this morning and we're completely lost and we need directions.
Okay.
It might be fairly early. I don't know what the traffic patterns are like.
It's rush hour in about 2 hours.
All right.
I mean, it's also underground. I don't know if people are like, I'm going to get up in the morning.
Yeah.
Law 9 to 5
we did.
work is down here.
Somewhere up there is a sun and it is morning.
Artificial.
You know what? Hold on one second, guys. I realized I forgot my dice tower, so I need to go and get that. And if anybody else needs dice, maybe you should get that.
Yeah. I use athletics to smash your dice tower.
No, let's not tick off the GM this early.
That's a DC 37 to smash the dice tower. If your pass, he brings out a hammer and starts beating the thing. We had a stroller, then we could put Dag inside him and pretend he's our baby. I'd believe it.
Not with my disguise kit on.
So, Dag, go ahead and make your stealth check.
Stealth check. It's actually +6. 9 on the die, or 3 on the die, 9 total.
Okay. And then Sharp, wait 1 second. Go ahead and make your check.
It's 24.
Okay. So, so Dag, as far as you guys are concerned, runs off, and he vanishes from view after going into the shadows around one corner, and you don't see him for a while. And then, as you guys are walking down the street, trying to look as inconspicuous as possible, you do see a few passersby that look at you a little warily. But Sharp, being the charming gentleman that he is, despite what ostensibly was a really hard night of drinking, seems to have all of his wits about him, and really seamlessly manages to shed any attention from them. At one point, you claim that you're just a tourist on a tour being led by Solana, who is clearly the great warrior from the arena. And then Solana, you do a little bit of a flex, even though doing so wins you with your current state. You're able to keep it up well enough that they just kind of assume that it is correct. And then another creature kind of eyeballs you. This one is a little bit more startling. It's actually a manticore, and it almost looks like it wants to eat you. But then, Sharp, you manage to state something that makes it so disgusted with the prospect of eating you that it immediately flies off into the distance. And then finally, you're able to find a very impoverished half elf who kind of looks at you warily, like kind of like, you know, but then you ask them for directions, and you're able to kind of shift their attention to not really believing that you might be these people of interest. And he gladly provides you the directions that you seek. He does kind of hold a hand out, though, kind of not expectingly, but hopefully. So I don't know if you guys respond.
I will vigorously shake his hand like a rube who doesn't understand what he wants.
So he mutters and grumbles to himself, but then he kind of crosses his hands over his chest and kind of goes back to leaning in the corner. And then let's see.
Trump is as charming as any vampire.
Story dice time.
Nice story dice.
Dag, as you are going ahead, trying to stealthily go from hiding spot to hiding spot very quickly, very deftly, keeping a lookout for anybody that might be a possible danger. In one of the alleyways that you find yourself in, you hear a sound, and it gives you pause, and then you listen more closely, and it sounds like music, some kind of flute, and you can't help but go and check it out. And there in the alley appears to be this bottle, and the bottle is clear. It's very decorative, crystal looking, and it has some kind of fluid in there, and it glows a very vibrant deep blue, and its surface kind of ripples in response to this song that seems to be actually coming from the bottle.
Yeah, Dag is super interested in this.
Lick the liquid. Lick it.
No. He's not like that. But it's shiny and interesting, and it would certainly capture his attention. Yeah. So I'll look around. Do I see anyone else on the street?
Oh, you're in an alleyway, and
Yeah,
no,
so-
there's nobody that you can see anywhere. You can do a perception check if you want to make sure that there's nobody there.
Okay. Oh, that was a nat 20. Now
Okay.
I use my nat 20.
So you are absolutely positive there's nobody around.
Yeah. So I'll go up and I'll start looking at the bottle, investigating the bottle, picking it up, looking at it.
So the minute that you pick it up, give me a charisma saving throw.
Charisma is +3. That's a 15 on die, 18.
Let's see what the saving throw is going to be. Okay. So the minute that you pick it up, suddenly the stopper comes off, and you feel suddenly this vacuum, and it's trying to actually suck you in. You're able to, but it's not like a physical sort of vacuum. It's more of a challenge of wills. But you're able to avoid the sensation. But even then, you can't get your hand off of the bottle. Your hand won't move. It's like glued to the bottle. And the stopper is not in your hand, actually. It opened itself.
Mm.
And then, since it's not bringing you into it, suddenly the fluid rushes out, explodes out, and you are facing like some kind of creature or ooze or something. It doesn't have any kind of physical form, but you can hear it screech at you. But you're certain that it's not your ears hearing it. It's in your mind. And then it lashes out, and just you and me, we're going to do a quick round of initiative. And then we'll see how long it takes for everybody else to catch up.
So what was that new character you wanted to make?
14 on my day. 10 plus 4.
Okay. So you're able to beat it in the initiative. Your hand is still clamped to the bottle. You're not able to move your hand. It feels like, almost like you ever hold one of those like those game things where it's like the rod that like electrocutes your hand, and it keeps your hand kind of gripped tight to it. I don't know. We had one of those at a Haunted Trails, which is like a Halloween themed Chuck E. Cheese.
Okay.
But that's kind of what it feels like.
Okay.
And this thing is kind of raised over into the air. It's looming over you. It looks like it's about to kind of envelop you.
Yeah. So the thing about halflings, they really know no fear. That be good, that could be bad, and so, but they can be pragmatic and protect themselves. So I would push myself up against the wall and say, first of all, intuitively, insight check. Is this thing trying to kill me, or I mean,
it's definitely you would know right off the bat, just kind of instinctively, this thing is looking to harm you. It doesn't. From the way that it sounds, to the way that it seems like it tried to pull you in, to the way that it seems like it's about to lash out at you, this is not
an opportunity to role play, huh?
Well, I'm not saying that, but it certainly seems like it is hostile and dangerous. And now that you've had some time to kind of, I want to say that you had time to think about it, but this being you being a rogue, you kind of realize this might have been purposely put as a trap of some sort.
Okay. So I'll back off to the entrance of the alley, to the main cross. Yeah, I'm going to try to run. I'm going to try to escape.
Okay. So you would need a dash to be able to do that, which I think you can use as a bonus action, right?
I can,
because of cunning.
Yep.
Okay. So you would be probably about 5-10 feet away from the entrance of the alleyway at that point, and you still have your action. And because it's in your hand, it's still with you.
So is the bottle like dragging this entity with me?
Yeah.
So I as my action, I'm going to try to shake this bottle off my hand.
Okay. Give me another charisma saving throw.
All right. 12 on the die, plus 3 is 15.
Okay. So you are able to shake it off as an action, and the bottle falls. And despite looking like crystal, it clinks on the ground, but it doesn't break. And it kind of wobbles like one of those bound punching things.
Sure.
And is right back up, and the thing is still looming over you, looking like it's going to lash out.
Yeah, this is going to hurt.
Bottles fall, everyone dies.
So that's kind of my turn.
I'm just reading what Kurt wrote in the chat.
That was before he began shaking it vigorously to get it off.
So it sweeps over you, and you suddenly feel yourself, your mind wandering, and memories to the worst instances of your life, and but even those memories seem like not only are they super vivid, but they're also somehow worse than you remember them. Your lowest lows have suddenly become lower. Like you didn't think that they could be worse, but they suddenly do. Like the way that you remember them is altered to the point where it's like just the worst. So give me another charisma saving throw.
Then I met these guys and was like,
Yeah.
oh my god, that was awful.
All right. Third check's the charm here. Natural 1 plus 3 is 4.
Roll it again.
6 plus 3 is 9.
Okay.
Do have action points for those natural ones, by the way.
Oh yeah, you can use an action point to reroll.
Yeah,
but also you're a halfling, so don't you get to reroll?
I do. Thank you. I automatically get to roll natural ones. So
Is that only on
always
attack rolls, or is it all of them? Okay.
That's
Only
all.
on
So, yeah.
D20s.
D20s,
So-
right?
So reroll the natural 1.
Which I re-rolled and got a 6, which became a 9.
Okay. So we can use that then. So that's still a fail. It's not a critical fail, so that's good. But it is a fail. So you take 14 psychic damage. And at that point, because you're close enough to the entrance of the alley, you guys are probably about 45 feet behind Dag, but Jofar, Solana, and Sharp, you guys see Dag is enveloped in this like shimmering blue cloud. And I don't know, Dag, if you screamed after that, but your face certainly has a look of horror and you kind of get
holding
these
my
bags
head.
over your eyes.
What has he gotten himself into now? I'll start running forward
I'll
Okay.
follow up at half speed.
and summon my sword to my hand.
Okay. So actually, you guys, this is kind of like a surprise round. So you'll be able to act next in the next round. So go ahead and roll initiative. And then we go to Dag and then whoever's next, or unless somebody beats Dag, I guess.
That's a 4.
It's a 13.
Okay.
Shut your mouth.
Jofar?
4.
Okay. So Dag, you will go, then Sharp will be up, then this thing, and then Jofar and Solana.
Solana will probably go before me because her deck is probably higher.
Well,
Yeah, but
just
she's also at 2 levels of exhaustion.
3 technically.
Still,
After the long rest, it's
probably
3
still
now.
faster than me.
Wait, I thought you had 3 before the long rest, and then you had the long rest. Now it's 2.
I had 4 before the long rest, then it became 3. I got beaten the fuck up.
Oh. Okay. I
I'm
must have
good.
recorded that wrong.
I'm good.
Okay. You know what? For being honest about it, though, you get a bonus action point.
Yeah, it's fine.
Are you denying a bonus action point?
I'll take it. Pick me.
Yeah, I'm not gonna cheat or anything. It's just on my sheet it was marked down as 4, then it became 3 after the long rest.
No, I know, but I mean, if I award a bonus action point, I mean, it's not about cheating. It's because I appreciate the gameplay or something about it. We're gonna move on. You choose to have it or not have it.
Although
so,
if you're at 3 levels of exhaustion, therefore at half speed, Sharp would probably be like carrying you on his back.
Half speed, disadvantage on attack and saving throws, and disadvantage on ability checks.
Because we don't want to go, like we were saying about how we want to get this done quick.
Yeah.
So we wouldn't necessarily want to watch you limping behind us.
20 feet per round.
so now it makes what Sharp did all the more impressive, convincing the others about your status.
But this is
in the
my
arena.
daughter. I'm carrying my daughter. It happens all the time.
All right, so Dag is up, Sharp is on deck, Monster in the hole.
Dag's up.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I'm going to take my hoop hack, flip it around so the sling part is on the ground, and I'm going to hockey puck it and the bottle and try to fling it into the wall.
Okay.
With the thought that maybe I can break this bottle.
Mm-hmm. So because it's kind of an object, kind of a creature, and it is kind of swirling around you, give me a grapple check.
Grapple. So I can use my dex for that, or do you want strength?
Or yeah, so athletics.
Athletics.
Because you're using your hoop hack, I'll let you do a athletics check, but use dexterity.
All right. So 8. 4 on the die plus 4 is 8.
Okay. Right.
It's hard to do this when my head hurts this bad.
Go ahead and roll a D100.
D100. 48. 48.
Okay. So you managed to do this. You got it up and you smashed it against the wall, and you could hear that it cracked, and it actually caused this whatever is connected to it to pull off of you as well. And it's still like kind of swirling above the bottle, but it's also kind of, you see it kind of at times quivering. You don't know what that means, but you feel like you did that much like more impressively than you would have expected.
And then disengages my cunning action, and then I'm going to move into the road, the street,
Okay.
toward the group.
Okay. So you guys see Dag hockey puck or lacrosse this strange bottle back into the alley, and the vapor or fluid or whatever it was fly with the bottle. Declan, you're up. Then it's turn.
Crazy bottle! Don't drink, Declan. Don't drink this bottle. No.
He's just trying to save it for himself. Don't believe him.
So, well, stepping forward, I would swing down Silhana off my shoulder so that she's on the ground, then step in front of Dagnabbit. And then I would use my action to actually summon my weapon to my hand. I would actually, seeing the bottle, I'd make it a warhammer.
Okay.
That's my turn.
All right. Then what you see then is that the swirling whatever it is over the bottle retracts back into the bottle, and the stopper goes back.
I would turn and look at Dag.
Crazy bottle! Don't drink it! Don't drink it! Crazy fluid! Not good!
I just continue staring at Dag, wondering, what did you do? Did you try to drink from the magic bottle?
Don't touch the bottle. Let's go find our goblin. Let's get out of here.
Well, do we want to leave that thing here?
It's probably fun for the kids. I'd recommend leaving it here.
I don't want to mess with it. Let's get out of here.
I start staring at the bottle. So, is that your bottle?
I was checking down the streets looking for stuff, and then I saw the bottle on the ground. It was pretty cool. It was shiny. The fluid was cool, and I thought, oh, I bet my friend Declan would like this bottle. And so I went up and I started looking at it, and then this blue cloud just came out of the bottle and attacked me. And I escaped, and then here you are.
So you're saying if we leave it here, probably somebody else will come up and it will attack
It's in
them.
an alleyway. No one's gonna go back there.
Fine. I don't really care if it attacks anyone else. Let's just go.
And then
Probably
with
someone else
that,
will come and get in. It's not our problem.
and then with that, you hear down the street, kind of from the direction that you had came, "Hey, isn't that the Boromir guy?"
Oh no. And I'll look at Declan. You're not Boromir, are you?
I shake my head and go into the alley. I'm going to try to use the warhammer to just like fling the bottle out into the street. Like
Okay.
not even smash it, just like golf putt it along into the street.
I think that's called croquet.
Yes.
Okay. Give me an athletics check.
19.
Okay, you're able to do it with pretty good precision. You knock it into the middle of the street. You are in the alley. What is it? Where is everybody else?
I'm outside the alley where he left me.
And I'm kind of there too, right? I ran up to him and thanks.
Well, right, but Sharp went back into the alley to do this.
I'm outside of the alley. I'm not going in there.
So
There are
then,
evil bottles.
Solana, from your perspective, you see Sharp disappear into the alley, and this bottle go flying into the middle of the street, landing and coming up right side up. Also, if you look back, you see shadows of people that seem to be moving closer to you from around a corner, and they may be any minute now about to emerge.
Oh, don't even pull that shit or I'm going to bitch slap all of you.
Give them the bottle.
I think this might be their bottle.
Well, they can have it back.
Sharp, where are you?
I mean, I would come back out after I got the bottle out into the street.
Okay. So it sounds like you guys can hear footsteps and you can see shadows kind of dancing on the walls from the fire light, because this place is lit with like actual torches largely, but not many. So it's also very dark. So yeah, you guys know that people are coming and probably within the next couple of seconds are going to emerge.
I am lining up my shot so that when one of those shadows turns into a real person, I'm going to try to use my hammer to fling the bottle at that person.
Are we still in initiative?
No.
No.
So
Okay.
sorry, I should have made that clear. You guys are no longer in initiative right now.
Yeah, so you flung it in the street and I'll use my hoop. So I'm going to use my hoop hack to fling it toward the crowd. Fling the
Okay.
bottle.
Go ahead and give me athletics with but substitute strength with dexterity.
8.
You hook it and it flies, but you mistime like its exit, so it kind of hits the wall not too far from you and bounces off. So it's only like, it only landed about 15 feet from you and nowhere near those shadows that seem to be emerging.
And then I'm going to use my movement to get in the alley and hide to whatever extent I can.
Okay.
Stealth check.
No,
Do
not
what?
at this time.
All right. That feels like what Dag would do.
So
Everyone knows you're there
Solana,
at this
Joe
point.
Farr, Sharp, what are you guys doing?
I walk
What?
back out of the alley and look for the bottle. It's gone.
Now he is sad. Just one sip. That's all he wanted.
I mean, you would have heard that Dag like kind of hooking it, and you would have heard the clatter of glass as it hit against the stone.
So I would just say we should probably get out of here.
That's a good idea.
Yeah, let's get out of here. Find our goblin. Let's go.
So are you guys trying to run away, or are you trying to hide, or what is it that you guys are trying to do?
I would assume run.
Yeah, fast as we can.
Absolutely.
Well,
Follow Dag.
picking up Solana, who's not terribly fast at the moment,
So I
uncharacteristically.
just ducked behind a waste bin, and I see Declan run off. And say, oh, yeah, let's go.
Okay. So, Sharp, what's your strength score?
18.
Okay. And Solana, how much do you weigh?
I weigh. Let me check my character sheet here.
She's like 4 years old.
115 pounds.
4
Okay.
years old in elf years.
Sharp, are you carrying anything else?
I do have a lot of crap. So if she weighs 115 pounds, let's see. What is my encumbrance?
So you'd be able to carry 270 pounds pretty easily. And if Solana's 115, so that gives you a 155 pound wiggle room.
Yeah, I have less than 155 pounds of stuff.
Okay, so then that's fine then. So you're able to run full speed with Solana on your shoulder. Joe Farr, what are you doing through all this?
I guess I see. How can we determine how far these people are? Like you said, a couple seconds, so it sounds like any second they're just going to come around the alleyway or whatever where they're coming from.
Yeah, if you want to give me a perception check, but using intelligence instead of wisdom, you can do a guess as to how many people you think might be coming based on the shadows and the number of footsteps you hear.
And that would be 16 total.
Okay. So it's probably 4 to 6 people that you hear, and they're relatively close to just any minute might emerge from that alleyway.
Okay. Yeah, I follow the rest of them, just hightail it into the alley.
Is that where you guys are going? Into the
Not
alley?
into the alley.
No?
Declan, I'm following you. Oh, you're on mute, maybe.
Yeah, I wasn't hiding, I was running. So
Yeah.
not into the alley,
But were you running down the road or down the alley?
down the road.
Down the road.
Okay, so they would, in theory, see us as we run away, correct?
I mean, if they all have dark vision and we're within 60 feet, but I would at least try to avoid the light as we ran away.
Okay.
Stop trying to hold me back. Put me down. I'll take them all on. Come on. Put me down.
Okay, so since you guys did not do anything for the last checks last time, Jofar and Solana, what kind of skill check do you want to use to try and avoid these people getting near you, or potential obstacles that might be in the way?
I would use survival to use the best route or whatever shadows or obstacles in our way so they can't get either line of sight or see where we're headed.
Okay.
I'll
And
use
then
perception to try and go ahead and find us the best route. You know, just looking, seeing where they are, telling everyone, oh, they're behind you. They're about to throw that cart our direction or some shit like that.
so from Declan's shoulder, you're going to be using your perception.
Yep, and I'm bouncing around.
You're going to be the team Periscope.
I got disadvantage anyway. I have to do something here. Like a upset prairie dog at this
Okay.
point.
So Jofar, go ahead and give me that survival check.
Natural 20.
Good
Okay.
thing.
So you managed to, using your survival and your understanding of how they might be tracking you, you're able to see ahead to where the torches are and direct the group to the best places to stay out of the light while still keeping the light as a guide. And at one point you see as you're running what looks like some kind of frog thing, but you're able to, as reflexively, you kind of kick it as it emerges from wherever it is, and then you hear it kind of fall, and there's a splat. And then Solana.
Uh-oh. Okay.
Hold on, don't roll yet. Trying this new thing with variable DC. Okay, go ahead and give me a perception check.
Okay.
Oh, you're also at disadvantage, right?
Yep.
That's unfortunate.
I got an action point. I'll use it to reroll that. Oh, that's much better. Now it's a...
So if you re-roll, if you use an action point to re-roll something that you have disadvantage on, you can do it without disadvantage.
Okay. Yep. Okay, so that is 11. No, 12. 8 plus 4 is 12. Yep, 12.
Okay.
In real life, I have disadvantage on mental checks at the moment as well.
So, Solana, there's as you're looking around to try and use the benefits of your sight to see where there might be danger and keep people warned. At one point, you look back where these things you think are following you, and there's like almost like a flash kind of thing, like if somebody had like a mirror and they were kind of reflecting sunlight off of it and kind of like going back and forth, but then like there's suddenly a really intense flash right directly into your eyeballs, and it is incredibly painful. And give me a Constitution saving throw.
That's an 8.
Is that disadvantage too?
Yep.
So you only missed it by 2, but you are now blinded. And you will be blinded for...
Blinded by the
1d8 days.
Nothing, so... you're blinded for the next 3 minutes.
Ouch.
Oh, God. Nope. I can't see anything. Let me listen. Nope, can't hear. I'm deaf as well.
So yeah, by the way, all of this started because Dag missed his stealth check by 1.
Oh, no.
Emma Dag, you had one job.
And the stealth is my best thing.
One job,
but,
that's it.
But eventually you guys are able to escape from the these
New York.
your pursuers.
Oh.
But in doing so, who is trained in stealth? Or I mean not stealth, survival.
That's my wife.
Why didn't you bring her?
Yeah, I assume she was just indicating she is trained in survival.
I thought so, yeah.
She may be trained to make me a pizza here in a little bit.
That's a survival skill, right?
I mean, that's, yeah. Survival requires pizza, I think, and pizza requires survival. It's really mutually assured. All right, so Joe Farr, you're the only one trained in survival?
Mhm.
Okay. Give me a survival check.
Natural 1. But I will use an action point.
That's a wise idea.
Natural 1.
11.
Okay. So, you realize, based on the directions that were given to you, this doesn't look anywhere like where you were. You guys got turned around. You don't know exactly where you are now within Kyber's Gate.
We're lost. Anybody got a map?
Well, I'm sure no one has a map.
I can't see anything.
Dave, I think we can't hear you right
Yeah,
now.
no, you can. Solana, you can't see. Where are we?
Blind.
And our guide is blind? Oh, no.
Based on the smell, we are exactly here.
I mean, if we can find another torch, I would swing Solana down and check to see, what, if she got like shot in the eyes with arrows or what, because I'm not aware that it's just a flash of light from a mirror.
Yeah, I will say in this area where you guys are also, the torches normally light 40 feet bright light and then another 40 feet dim light, correct?
No, normally it's
Or-
20 feet bright light, 20 feet dim.
Okay, so that's what I thought. So there are torches on the walls, but there's only one every 100 feet. So there's many periods of just pure darkness where you can't really see, but you can at least see the torches from the dark.
So, but I mean, I would head for torchlight then. Swing her down and take a look just to see if it's a physical injury. And then when I see that it's not, tell her to walk it off.
I get up to walk it off and walk right into a wall.
Or, maybe I would do like the fatherly thing and like lick a thumb and rub her eyes.
It bends! So Solana, with that, you would kind of blink and things are still a bit fuzzy and you're seeing spots or stars or whatever, but you're able to pretty much basically see.
Oh, the curse of having dark vision. I'm so easily blinded. Oh, damn it. Okay, where are we? I don't recognize this place.
It's supposed to
We-
be
we
darkness
left-
to me.
Shamukar, and we went down this way. And we went down this road and checked out the alleyway. And then we ran this way and that way and that way. So, does that help?
Yes, actually. So that means we are in a place where I have no idea.
All right. And we can't backtrack because those people were on the way back.
And we're assuming none of them are in front of us as well.
Well, we know they're back there. We don't know what's in front of us.
Exactly. So the smart thing to do is move forward.
Let's just keep pushing forward and see where we end up.
Yeah, what's the worst that could happen?
Well, maybe you'll eventually recognize something. And on the left, we have a Gothic building with torch on it. On the right, we have a Gothic building with a torch on it. I'll just keep describing that for the next 5 minutes as we walk.
But that one has a gargoyle.
That's a gargoyle. Oh, there's a little rat. Remember the building with a rat next to it?
Yep. How could I forget? That was every kid's favorite hangout.
Declan, we just got to move forward.
Unless someone has a better plan than that.
Let's go.
Everybody give me a perception check.
Ooh. That's a natural 1.
Yeah, you're still recovering from the blindness.
11.
It's 14 unless we have disadvantage because it's dark and I don't have dark vision, in which case it's 4.
Oh yeah, because it's dark, even with dark vision, because of the way the light is, everybody would have disadvantage.
Yeah.
Then 4.
Triple disadvantage.
Mine's still 11.
Okay.
19.
Okay.
With this, wow.
Yeah. If I didn't have it, it would have been natural 20.
Okay. Also, Solana, give me a Constitution saving throw.
Yep, that is most certainly a total of 5.
Okay. Do you want to use an action point? I'd recommend an action point, but that's up to you.
Yeah, let's use an action point. Okay, that's a total of 8. It was a 19 when I had disadvantage.
Okay.
Secret message. That's not good.
You are, it says, roll 3 4d6s. What's that supposed to mean?
Okay. So, it's a secret message.
Hello. Uh-oh. You are permanently blind. Well, that's not a good thing. Shit. Wonder if I'll get blindsight after that.
Sent. So
You have plague.
It's very
From
eerie
being down here.
It's very eerie where you are,
Mhm.
and you can't see very well. There's not very many landmarks to tell where you are. There are the carvings down here into the walls seem less sophisticated. There are no more doors or large like alleyways. Most of the dwellings might be most of the potential dwellings are just a hole big enough to fit whatever might be lurking within. The carvings here are much rougher hewn, and based on that,
I think we're heading into the poor part of the city.
No, the third one on the left kind of looks like my old place.
I pull out my dagger.
Think we should we're probably not near the goblin, since the goblin is presumably reasonably well off.
A lot of strange and human sounds around here. I don't like it.
There are. What do they sound like? You do know a lot of monsters live in this area, don't you? It's common that you'd find inhuman sounds down here.
Still, maybe we circle around and head back and hope we can find some place that looks vaguely familiar, because I'm pretty sure we're going the exact wrong way.
Okay, if you insist.
Let's just keep moving.
What's the worst that could happen?
Worse than
Solana, I sent you a message, by the way.
Uh-oh. Let me see. Oh.
We might want to ask one of these people for directions.
Oh, good heavens.
One of these people.
This
Are there
place-
any? Are there even people who live in this section?
Wait, let me try. I'm remembering something. You know, this place could either be the corpse of the dragon below, or it might be where all the feral halflings are. It's one or the other, I think. I'm not completely certain, though.
I'll take my chances with the dragons.
They're probably a lot safer to deal with than the
Feral halflings, isn't that redundant?
feral. Wait a second. Feral halflings?
Yes, they're run by Will Ferrell.
I don't know Will Ferrell the halfling.
You'll have to meet him sometime. Nice guy, but they're not very friendly.
Was he the really tall halfling?
Yeah, with the 2 arms and the 2 legs.
I'm sorry. I just pictured in my head, Santa!
Exactly. Will, it's you! I was hoping you'd fall to your knees and praise your god, Will Ferrell, but okay, fine then. Don't RP if you don't want to.
He's sobered up. They're sharp. Can't you see
I'm
these
fine.
glowing eyes here in the darkness? They're all around us.
Are there glowing eyes around us?
You probably need to hit the hooch again. Get your senses back.
So as you focus a little bit harder within the darkness, you can, especially with Jofar kind of pointing some of them out, there are what appear to be glowing eyes in the darkness.
Right over there, right over there.
Some of them appear to be watching you. Others appear to just kind of flash in and out as if, you know, there are creatures looking at you, but then looking away.
I'm just going to stop and start walking backwards.
It's moonwalking away.
They're probably staring at my axe. I know it's nice, but you can't have it. It's mine.
Perhaps we should
Did
get
any
out
of you
here.
want to maybe light a torch or something?
Didn't you have that glowy thing?
Yeah, I would light my drift globe at this point and set it to phony.
Okay.
Grab your glowy thing, kids.
So as you lift as you light the drift globe, you see you see a few feral dogs scatter. They seemed like they were kind of approaching you, but once the light comes on, they go back into the darkness.
You're blind too now.
Let's go. Let's get out of here.
Yeah, I would start moving more quickly back to where we came.
Okay.
I'm just a passenger.
So, Jofar, go ahead and give me another survival check to see how well you can backtrack.
Much better. 24.
Okay. So, despite being lost, Jofar was at least able to keep a good sense of where you guys went, and is able to backtrack to where you were once you encountered the bottle. Though the bottle's no longer there.
Yeah, before we get back to, I mean,
And there's
assuming
at least one body on the ground as well. Looks to be a orc or half orc.
as we approach that, I would probably turn the drift globe off.
Okay.
How about these buildings, Solana? Do you recognize anything?
You've been here before. I can tell.
You were leading us a direction when we went on this path.
I was leading us as best I could until we got to the soup kitchen. After that, we were given directions. I don't have a clue where we are.
Well, at the alley where we saw the bottle, we knew where we were at that point, right?
Yeah, so Solana, you would know this area well enough based on the description, like where, because you know now where you are in relation to Shamukar,
Okay.
as well as you know, the directions that the proprietors of the food kitchen.
Okay. So it would be this way then. I
Right.
think.
So
Let's keep
you
moving.
you guys are able to, wait, where did it go? Here it is. Okay, so you guys are able to eventually find a building which has been an entire building kind of carved out of the stone. And carved into the stone above the doorway is a very detailed depiction of an eye, which is exactly what you were looking for. This is the symbol that indicates it's Gudrun's place. And there is a door. The door is fairly ornate. And it's actually a double door. So this place, you know, it's and the way that the stone is carved, it's much smoother than the other places, and it actually looks like it may be a different color. It looks like it may actually be like a nice marble, not just the normal limestone or sandstone that you might see. Like this looks a bit out of place.
Mm-hmm.
You think this is it?
Pretty sure.
Should see what happens.
So I'm going to go up and knock.
So at that point, the depiction of the eye above, it moves and it turns to look at you. And you hear a voice say, "Who's there?"
My name is Declan Sharp. We're here to inquire about purchasing an artifact from you.
The eye kind of looks from you to the others, and then turns back to you and says, "You don't look like you're from around here. You want to purchase an artifact?"
Yes. And we're not from this particular level. We're from higher up in the city.
"Show me you're serious about purchasing. Hold up your pouch of coin."
Oh, here it is.
Well, every time with you, isn't it?
So I would hold it up and start shaking it to indicate there is coins inside.
"All right, you may enter." And then you hear the door unlock, and begin to swing open inwards. From there, you see a set of stairs that goes up, and then. So, did you want to go up the stairs?
Sure.
We're looking for this goblin, right? What was his name? Anyone? Bueller. Was it Elfingor or was that somebody else?
I think that was somebody else.
Is that an Animorphs reference?
I don't know.
Oh,
Just something I wrote down.
The Gardroon? The Gar...
Yeah, something like that.
Has he got
Dominic
one eye? Is he
Garfunkel?
supposed to have one eye?
Oh, this is the one-eyed elf?
Yeah.
Or goblin?
Yeah, you know them, don't you? They're famous.
Yeah, Gardroon, the antique dealer.
Quadroon.
all right. So you guys, as you go up the stairs, which, much like the outside of the building, is carved with a very fancy marble, with black veins richly running through the polished stone, and emerging at the top of the stairs, standing over you as you're climbing, appears to be a goblin with an eye patch, in very rich-looking clothing, clothing that would not be out of place, not just in the upper wards, but even Skyway. And he opens his arms and says, "Welcome, I am Gudrun," and then he looks at Dag, and he gets a very strange look on his face, like a look of disgust, and he's like, "What's on your face?"
I fell in a mud puddle. Sorry, do you have something I can clean up with?
Is this a joke? Have you come to mock me?
Oh, no, of course not.
You can't help it. They don't like feral halflings down here.
You know, times are supposed to be more progressive. Green face is not okay.
Tell me about it. Everyone has elf ears now. Like, oh, look, I got elf ears too. Aren't I fancy? It's so annoying.
So Gudrun looks at you, Dag, and directs you down a hall and says, "Go clean your face in a wash basin. Once you've done that, then you can dress me."
Okay. I'll wash off best I can.
Meanwhile, Gudrun, he leads you to a kind of sitting area with very nice, fluffy couches, all in a very deep red, crimson color with golden trim, and all of the walls seem to have artwork or statues or various antiquities, all themed like eyes. He has a couple of shelves with just on display various glass eyes of differing shapes and sizes. And actually, as you guys are sitting there, he takes off his eye patch, places it on one of the shelves, and pops one of the eyes into his head. It's a kind of a jade green color, completely smooth. And then he turns to address you as Dag comes back in after having washed his face. He says, "There, that's much less distasteful. So, you've come to purchase something from Gudrun. How might I help you?"
We're looking for a fragment of a statue. Obviously, it's an eye. It would have come from a marble-ish looking statue. I forget how tall the statues actually were. I'm not sure if that was said. I imagined it being bigger than like a normal person, but
Yeah, I think
8 to 10
it
feet.
was 8 to 10 feet tall.
it would have been from a statue about 8 to 10 feet tall, and the eye would have been off on this side. I also don't remember if it was left or right, but I would have taken note of that at the time.
Yes. Give me one moment. And he disappears behind one of those kind of string curtains. And as you kind of look around, you notice that one of the things that, based on its location and how prominently it's displayed, he is very proud of. It looks to be just a very large, thick stalk of some kind, a black stalk, but then underneath is a placard that says, world's longest giant's eyelash.
Wow.
That's some impressive stuff right
I
there.
imagine there's a lot of stuff in this room that's really distracting Dag.
Oh yeah, very much so. I imagine Dag is kind of just. Have you ever seen Pacific Rim?
Oh yeah.
You remember when Charlie Day enters that collector's room, and he's like going back and forth between all of the different kaiju things.
Mhm.
I imagine that's kind of like what Dag is doing.
Wow, did you see this? And well, look at this. Boy, where did he get this? Wow, he's got all sorts of cool stuff. I wonder if he'd trade this arm for an eye. Think he'd trade I have this arm and trade him for the eye. You think he'd do that?
I think he's more of an eye guy.
But look, I got this hand.
Well, that does look quite handy. I don't think that's what he's looking for.
I think we'll have to find the hand guy for you.
Snap out of it.
Give me your hand!
All right, so Gudrun, he comes back with a large book, and then he sits down with you and he starts thumbing through the book, and he says, "Okay, tell me about this statue piece. What does it look like? What kind of stone?"
I'll start to describe it in as much detail as I can.
Give me. You don't have keen mind, do you?
No.
I do.
Okay. So Silhana, as Sharp begins to try and find the words to describe it, Silhana kind of jumps in and is like, starts giving exact details and features about the type of stone, the relative size and shape of the eye. And so Gudrun kind of looks and nods as he hears you describe it, kind of flipping through pages.
Of course, a fine year for stone.
And then the pages are able to actually come out of the book. And so he pulls out the 2 pages and he says, these are the ones that are closest in my collection. Do any of them appear like what you are looking for? And Solana, based on what you know of the eye and what you can remember through your keen mind feat, you have a really good feeling that the one on the right is the one.
I have a feeling it is that one, and I point to it.
Well, I do have it in my collection. There is an issue, though.
You like to wear it?
No, this is no good for actually using as a one of my prosthetics. No.
Do you have one of these in your collection?
I'm not interested in such things.
It's a prosthetic. You just said you needed a prosthetic?
No. Listen to what I have to say.
Okay.
Anyways, it is in my collection. But so, as a collector, I'm always on the hunt for new and exotic specimens, and clearly I have a taste for particular things. Ever since my accident, it's been kind of an obsession. I'm comfortable saying that it is an obsession.
Let me guess, you lost your eye.
I'm sorry, what'd you say?
I said, let me guess, you lost your eye.
Yeah, I just said that I lost my eye. So once again, listen up before, going at the talking thing. So a recent addition to my collection, it's gotten a little out of hand. So I was able to get my hands on the corpse of a beholder. Do you know what a beholder is, any of you?
Do we?
I don't think so.
Had to doubt it.
If you're trained in Arcana, you can make a check to see if you know what it is.
I have absolutely no idea then.
It's an 18.
Okay, so Sharp, you'd know what it is. Probably have heard stories of it, but unlikely that you've ever actually seen one.
Come on, floating eyeball? No way.
Don't worry, we're not going to judge you, whatever you're into.
Right, so anyways, found this beholder, and for those that you don't know, it is a monstrous eye tyrant is what they're also referred to. It has just a face with a single eye and the stalks emerging from its head with more eyes.
Oh,
Obviously,
I get it now. Yeah, it makes sense.
So it was dead and preserved in this tank of fluid, and I don't know if it was just somehow reanimated or if maybe it was never dead to begin with, but after I installed it in my central viewing room, it started moving and became very dangerous. I haven't been able to go in there ever since. I've been actually looking for somebody to help me with this, so it's pretty convenient. And also, the thing that you're asking about is in that room.
Well, let us know when you find someone who can deal with that for you.
Well, I think that this is what they call what is that? Shit, what is that word?
An eye for an eye.
Yeah, kismet. See, if you're able to take care of this for me, I'd be willing to part with this eye statue fragment for free.
I can't see us doing it. Yeah, you get it.
How many of our limbs do we have to part with in order to deal with this beholder?
Oh, hopefully none. I mean, surely, if I had two good eyes, I could probably handle it. But, ever since the accident, I'm not so good with the depth perception. But you all look to be fairly sturdy, adventurous type individuals capable of handling yourselves. So,
I don't carry around this axe for looks.
You don't?
good. That's what I was hoping to hear. So, take care of this issue for me, and the eye is yours. I do have to ask you, though, the things in this room are quite delicate, fragile, rare, expensive. I would really appreciate that you can handle this situation without causing any damage to anything. Also, if you could avoid damaging any of the beholder's eyes, that would be excellent too, because I have plans for them.
Somehow I saw that one coming.
Discreet is our middle name.
It is?
Of course.
I didn't even know you had a middle name.
Yeah. I don't know if this thing comes down to combat that we'll be able to absolutely promise 0 damage. As if this creature is maneuvering around the room, and if it's as big as I imagine it is, I can't
no,
tell you.
it's actually a smaller. It's shrunken since it's been in the preserving fluid, and it is in a tank, so it's contained. But it still is able to use its eye rays, and they pass through.
Eye rays?
Yeah, I should have mentioned it. Despite the beholder seeming to be dead, it's animated, but the magic within its eye stalks is still pretty active. So there's that.
I mean, I can say we are a very skilled group. That said, 0 damage. I'm not sure if it's all glass jars down there.
If you
Who's
could
to
at
say?
least, if you could minimize the damage, as the situation it is right now, I have no access to this room, and the things in that room are very valuable. But the value diminishes if I can't do anything with them.
Fair enough. We can keep the damage to as low a level as is possible for us.
I would greatly appreciate it. So, are you ready to do this now, or do you need some time to prepare?
I think we need a little bit of time to prepare, but let's circle up and see if there's anything we think we'll need before we go.
Well, at least a couple of minutes.
3 days of rest?
Sure. Well, take your time. I will leave the room. I'll give you guys some time to discuss. Certainly, I don't expect you to just jump and do this. I mean, certainly you weren't prepared to be coming here and fighting an undead beholder creature. But, I will give you a few moments to speak amongst yourselves, and I'll return with some refreshments. And then he goes and he leaves behind that curtain.
Well, I'm not in a good condition to go fighting anything at the moment.
So let me get this straight. There's a big eyeball with ice stalks coming out of it, and he shoots beams out of those eyes. It's in a container of some sort of fluid.
Yes, apparently.
Yep, that's about right.
So what would happen if we just put a blanket over the eye?
I think it can shoot through the blanket.
But it wouldn't be able to see.
True, but it might cause
You don't
quite a
really
bit of
need to be
damage.
able. You don't really need to be able to see in order to be able to shoot through something. Besides that, it's in a tank apparently, so we'd have to get into the tank with the blanket to throw the blanket over it.
Oh, how big's the tank? I was picturing
No.
something just a little bigger than it.
Yeah, that's a good
Depends on the
question.
tank.
And he said there's this. How big is this eye thingy?
Big enough to be a problem, that's for sure.
Yeah, but how big is it? Is it medium size? As big as a person? As big as a halfling? As big as an orc?
Chomp, how big are these eyes normally?
Normally, they're about the size of a horse, except flying.
Okay, so if we assume it's smaller, it's about the size of a human or something then.
In a tank.
It's a big tank. It must be for an aquarium or something.
So, but if we want to, take 2 or 3 days to rest, we can tell him we'll be back.
We do have to find our way back down here again after we do that
Where-
with everything else.
Where are we gonna stay for 3 days? We gonna go all the way home and come back?
Sure, why not? That's got to be safer and cheaper than staying down here.
There's no doubt.
But then there's the traveling problem again.
The seating area is pretty nice. We could stay right here. Troy wouldn't mind.
I'm thinking he might mind if with some strangers are camping out in his lounge for 3 days with his precious collectibles all around.
Well, I think we'll be fine. Let's start a campfire here, and we'll put some sleeping bags down and pitch a couple of tents. It'll be great. On second thought, maybe you're right. He might not enjoy that too much. Well, do we have any brilliant ideas or moments of insight?
How would we even? Okay, we wait 3 days and we come back. How would we even conceive of battling this thing?
Well, there's beating the living crap out of it. There is fire. There is drowning.
Fire might be bad given the whole don't damage anything, including the eyes of the beholder side of things.
Yeah, that is true.
We just
So we
throw
do
the
need
feral
some-
halfling on it and stab it in the eye.
Maybe we could
Sounds
bring
like
down
plan.
all the feral halflings we found and have them spawn into here. We'll have an army of halflings. It'll be perfect.
Yeah, I was thinking we'd go up to it with weapons and just keep hitting it in the sides.
That tends to be our go-to approach to most things. Don't get me wrong, I'm not criticizing. It is very effective.
Or we just go in the room and try to find what we're looking for and get out.
Yeah, he might not be so happy with letting us leave, but I'm actually okay with that plan. We go in, we find the eye we're looking for, and if he gives us trouble, we throw him in the tank with his eye beholder.
Assuming the eye doesn't lock the door or something. We don't know what type of abilities it has, other than eye beams.
What can
Actually,
the I-beams do?
I have no idea. Do you?
My understanding is certainly they are lethal.
So that's a good starting point. Lethal. Anything else we're aware of?
I don't know. What did my 18 get me on beholder eye beams? I'm sure lethal, because why would you have non-lethal eye beams?
No one gets eye beams unless they can kill someone. I mean, no one.
An eye beam that causes like a stuffed bear to appear in your arms, an eye beam that makes you fall in love. It's just all distractions.
Well, I know what my next character is going to be now.
I mean, you know
Puff
that
Marshmallow Man.
you know that living beholders, they have some are said to have eye stalks that have the power to disintegrate whatever is caught within its sight. Others create a sense of like such pain that a person can't even move a muscle within the sight of it. Other eye beams are said to be able to suck the very soul from a person with a glance. So
Yeah, I would just be confused. Why not just use disintegrate eye every time? Just deal with your problem the most efficient way.
You can't solve every problem in your life with disintegrate beam, okay? There's more to it than that. This is why I want a divorce.
what? So Sharp, you would know though that beholders are said to have very alien minds. The reasons that they do things are complex and don't seem to make sense to the average person. but you do know that they choose to use their other eye stalks on living creatures because it allows them to inflict greater pain upon them.
Well, that makes sense.
And
then.
they enjoy that.
Oh, they're almost as sadistic as sharp.
Everything else, it's undead.
What's that?
Well, on top of everything else, it was living, it died, and now it's undead.
Maybe we can find some holy water. Dump it in the tank.
Zombie
Yep.
beholders. That's even better.
It's not a bad idea to stock up on holy water in case other things don't work.
I don't know how effective my hoopak's going to be against something that's dead or undead or whatever.
You can't
Well,
even
like
cut
you
off its
said,
head.
you use your hoopak to fling vials of holy water at it.
Maybe we get that bottle and throw the bottle into the vat with it. Let them duke it out together.
I'm not sure we want to go find the guys who have the bottle now, but that's a good thought.
Don't have any idea where that bottle even went to. It just kind of disappeared when we got back. And how long did we wait?
Don't worry. Trust me. Sharp can find a bottle if he needs to.
I'm sure he can.
I look like I'm about to punch him, but then I don't.
Because you know it's true, and you're just defeated instead. Oh yeah, you're not wrong. Well,
Well, I think we tell him we'll be back in 3 days after we
Okay.
prepare to fight the undead zombie
What if he
beholder
says,
or whatever
no,
it
he
is.
needs it done in 1 day? What are we going to say?
fuck you, I won't do what you tell me.
Yeah, then we ask where it is and we drag him down there and throw him in with his undead beholder. Then we go back and wait 3 days and come back and finish the job.
That works for me.
What do you say, boss?
I need to take a 5-minute break.
Okay. Yeah, let's all take a quick break.
Okay.
Hello again.
Uh-oh. God damn it. None of this would have happened if we just went without the halflings. Every time you damn halflings come into town, and I find you on top of my daughter. And this is how you repay me for my kindness? You filthy halfling. I bet you read books too, and you're literate.
No, I promise I don't read books.
Then what's that in your pocket? A pocket dictionary? Hmm?
Right. Not even a regular halfling. It's a kender. Make it 15 pages into a book and then see a different book. Try to start reading that one instead.
15 pages. You're giving them a lot of credit.
But if that's the scholar among the kender.
The intellectual.
How are you guys' jobs? You working from home or?
Yeah.
Now I've been unemployed for 5 years now.
Oh my.
Yeah, no one gives crippled people jobs anymore. It's great trying to find a job at the moment. I was like, oh, you have a spinal injury? Where fuck you when I hire you. Like, why? I don't want to sue your company and blame you if I trip and fall. I want a job. No.
Well, I mean, if they say, since you have a spinal injury, we're not going to hire you, you could go ahead and just sue them anyway.
It's more of an indirect thing where they don't
Yeah.
actually say it, but everyone knows that's why. Yeah, it's a pain in the ass.
You get disability?
Yeah, I do have that. And so that brings in enough money I can pay for my place and pay for my parents' places. But it's still not a huge amount.
Wait, Josh, you're disabled? Sorry,
Yep.
I don't mean to be like
Oh no, come on in. It's
insensitive.
fine. Yeah, spinal injury.
Oh,
Is your mobility okay or?
It's pretty good. It's been better though. I mean, I can walk all right. I can do most things pretty well, but there's just a few things which are difficult.
it's rough, man.
Yep. Well, that's how it goes. Hopefully I'll get lucky and my computer will stop lagging so badly like it has been all day. I'm listening to everyone talking and their faces aren't moving. Then a message that I get arrives, like a minute and a half after it was sent and shit.
Well, I'm not seeing any lag, so at least there's that. You're
Yeah,
transmitting well.
That's good. Yeah, it's my computer, I know. My computer, my internet's been really bad the past few days. A lot of it has to do with where I'm living. We normally have good internet, but whenever it gets windy or we get rain, it cuts off and shit. Oh, that's gonna be fun. And then tomorrow I have to go down to the doctor's for blood work. Apparently there's something wrong with my liver. And I don't even drink alcohol. So that's really bad. Yeah, we'll find out.
Well, I hope everything's okay with that.
Thank you. Hopefully, if I'm lucky. Oh, well. Now, what have we done with here, Peter?
All right, everybody ready?
Yep.
Back into it?
Yep.
Okay. All right, so you guys are made a decision or still debating?
No, we're ready.
We're ready for what?
For war.
To tell the goblin we'll be back in 3 days. Because we need to go prepare to battle the undead beholder.
Isn't that a terrifying creature?
All right. So, shortly after you guys come to your decision, Gudrun comes in through the string curtain.
Beads.
No, not beads, just strings. Strangely enough, that's a missed opportunity for him. He could have had beads that looked like eyes.
Look like eyes. Yep.
Goblin hippies.
But Gudrun comes in and he says, so, have you thought about it?
Yeah, we have, and we're willing to handle your problem. We are going to need 3 days or so to prepare, get the right stuff so that we can take down an undead creature, as that in particular is not something we were planning on, but we will return and handle it then.
Okay. Yeah, no, sure. I mean, it's not going anywhere. And thankfully, it's not really doing anything that's damaging anything in there. It only really seems to become upset if, like, somebody actually just walks in. So, I'm a patient goblin. I can wait. You guys weren't coming here expecting to face something like that, so I can't ask much more of you than what you've agreed to. So I'm thankful, and as discussed, if you're able to take care of the creature in there and do so with minimum damage, then the fragment of the statue will be all yours.
I'm just
So
curious.
a couple of questions. One, how big is it technically now in terms of square footage? How big is the tank that it's in? And could you draw us a little layout of the room
We just
So that we
peek at
can-
it.
so that we can prepare without agitating the creature?
Sure. I can do that. I don't think you're gonna like the answer, but yeah. So
It's
he
microscopic and in an Olympic-sized swimming pool.
And incredibly powerful.
So
Have you ever fought a minuscule god?
share screen, whiteboard. All right. So where is it?
Wow, it is small.
I can't
I don't even see it.
God.
All right. So he starts drawing the map. So he says, you know, this is roughly the shape of the room.
Uh-oh. It's kind of like a,
Octagonal.
This is a
Yeah.
door. There's a door here. There's a door here. And it kind of is right here in the center of the room.
Mhm.
Other than that, the only thing in here, well, not there, but these walls are all lined with shelves. He says a tank is about probably about 20 feet in diameter, and it goes from the floor to almost the ceiling. And it's a glass tank, but it's also reinforced glass. And the beholder itself probably has a good 4 or 5 feet on each side of it, free to kind of move and swim around. So if this is a 10-foot or if this is a 20-foot diameter tank, then the beholder is probably about 10-foot diameter or smaller.
So can it fire its eye beams through the glass?
Yes, the glass and the fluid within don't seem to hinder the effectiveness of the eye beams.
So how does someone get into the tank then to engage it in combat.
Tank?
The tank wasn't really meant to be opened. So the best, I mean, the one thing that I would be okay with being destroyed would be that tank. It's unfortunate. There might be some damage from the fluid to the floor, and there would be quite a mess to clean up, but you'll probably have to get through that before you can even deal with the thing.
Said
How did
fluid.
you?
What do you mean? It's not water.
No, it's some kind of preservative.
Where'd you get this thing?
Craigslist.
Yeah, I'd rather not talk about where it came from or how I got it. That's not really necessary for you to complete this task.
How'd you get it in here?
Well, I had the tank specially created for the creature, which at the time was dead. It didn't seem to be moving, at least not when I purchased it from the seller. But yeah, once it was there, it stayed kind of still for a few days, but then I noticed it kind of twitching, and I thought that was odd, but beholders are strange creatures. I thought, probably just some reactions with the preserving fluid, but then it started to do more than just twitching, and the eyes opened and they would move around, and I thought, well, that's fascinating. And I thought maybe it could be an interesting addition to the collection, make it even more valuable to have, a beholder creature that reanimated. But when it started shooting its eye stalks, that's when I became quite surprised and concerned.
Did
how
anything happen
strong-
before it started moving again? Did anything change?
Nothing as far as I know. Nobody. I haven't had any visitors or anything. I don't get many visitors down here, to be honest. Sometimes collectors might come and visit me, as you have. Other times I might leave to procure my own curiosities, but I don't get many people here. Nobody that saw the beholder since I had it installed.
Mhm. What date did this start happening on?
Within the last week or two.
Okay. I'm trying to think if there's any important date that just happened recently in Oberon.
So
I don't know if I know of any, but that could explain something.
well, you would know. So it's the 9th of Mul, or the 9th of Zarentar, so it's Mul, which is like the equivalent to Monday. So in the last couple of weeks, you would know that there's the 3-day celebration known as Long Shadows,
Okay.
as well as Kyberseth. But outside of that, no. And in terms of your knowledge of Long Shadows, let me see. So Long Shadows is kind of like the marking of the end of the year. It is said to be devoted to the Shadow, who is one of the gods of the Dark Six within the Sovereign Host. people typically stay indoors during those 3 days. There are thoughts that dark magic may be stronger during that time. And then Kyberseth is a holiday worshipped by the Silver Flame, marking the start of winter. So those would be the only holidays or significant dates within the last couple of weeks.
Okay. So maybe something with Long Shadow might have affected it? I honestly don't
Kyber.
know. Or Kyber.
Kyberseth, because Silver Flame
Can't trust them. They're just a cult.
off to no good whatsoever.
Yep.
So, which door would we come through, and what's the distance from the door to this tank?
Yeah, sure. So you would be coming in this door. And then it's about 15 feet. And there's another 15 feet behind it. And 15 feet here and here.
And so, how strong is this glass? How much force is it going to take to crack it?
It's reinforced. It's thicker than normal glass. I couldn't say for certain. You guys look to be big and strong. I'm sure that you guys could break it in a couple of strong hits, but I couldn't tell you exactly. I didn't make it.
So, have you seen the creature fire its eye beams?
Yeah, I just barely got out of the way of one that destroyed one of my favorite coats.
And describe in as much detail as you can. How did the coat get destroyed?
So it looked at me with one of its eye stalks, and this kind of glow started around its eye, and I kind of looked at it, and then realizing what beholders can do, and seeing that it was looking right at me, I jumped out of the way and tried to get out as quick as I could. But when I saw this flash of, well, it's not really a flash. Like there was a sudden darkness enveloped the entire room, but it only lasted for a second. And then, I got out of the room, heart pounding, and I just checked myself over real quick to see if I had any injuries. No injuries, but there was a perfect inch or 2-inch wide hole that went through one of my long sleeves and into through the side of my jacket. It's one of those fashionable ones that's, quite baggy. Shows, meant to show off, wealth through the amount of material being used.
All right, little needle and thread. Fix that hole right up. You still wear it?
Where do the other doors go to?
They're extensions of my storage room.
Other displays or just storage?
Those are mostly storage. That room is meant to be a display room. The beholder was meant to be the centerpiece, obviously.
Would they be locked if we needed to go in there?
Yes, it would be locked, but you shouldn't need to go in there.
Hard to say what I'd need to do. Was there a top access panel to this tank?
No, it was, as I said, this was specially prepared and meant to be fully sealed.
Fully sealed.
Yes, there was some magic involved in making it a single piece.
Wow.
Don't worry about it, Dag. We'll break that tank and throw you right on top of it. You can hit it with your hoopa stank.
Super water?
A hoopak.
That too, if you got it.
I mean, like one of those giant whale things?
I got 2 follow-up unrelated questions.
Okay.
Statements. First, you see those strings that you walk through every time? And I take out one of my little ball bearings. She put something like this on them. Put eyes on them. Go with the whole theme. You know what I mean? You know what I mean going on here? You got eyes everywhere. Makes sense.
And then his eyes go wide, and he's like, "Why didn't I think of that? That's
Yeah, why didn't you? That's a
perfect."
free one. Thank you. The second one. Where can somebody trade magic item? I got something. It's got no eyes on it. You wouldn't be interested.
Well, what do you mean? What are you trying to trade?
And I pull out this staff, and it's got like carvings of birds on it. I want it. It's a major award.
And what is it?
Well, it's a staff of bird calls.
Okay. So what is it? What does it do? It just
Yeah, it gives
makes
you bird calls.
sounds.
Of course it does. It's in the name.
Okay. Yeah, I wouldn't have much interest for something like that. I
You know
don't
any
know.
ornithologist clubs down here? You know, aviary, something like that. They might like it.
No, I mean, yeah, somebody that likes bird watching, I guess. I'm not sure who would want.
Right,
something
you
like
ever
that.
done it? It's good, clean fun. Done it plenty of times.
I don't know if you've noticed. There's not many birds down here.
No, I haven't noticed.
Well, now you know.
Well, I do.
Sorry, I'm not sure I'm very well able to help you with that issue.
You don't know anybody that might want it?
No.
It's magical.
Yes, but simply being magical doesn't mean that it's valuable. Many things are magical.
Friendship,
I
for
guess we don't see
example.
eye to eye on it. That's all right.
I see what you did there.
Ah, good. I've been doing it all night. About time you caught on.
Speaking of the current location and fine coat, that does beg a question of why would a man of your means and fine taste possibly be living in a place such as this?
Why wouldn't I want to live in a place like this? Have you seen this place? It's amazing.
Well, I mean, down here in this area of the city. Did you stumble upon it, or did you have it custom built?
No, I had it custom built.
What made you decide to this location?
Because I liked it.
Oh, good reason as any. Just curious. I doubt that you'd get many visitors down here.
No, and that's mostly the way that I like it.
You have such a great collection. Wouldn't it be wonderful to show it off to people?
The more that you show things off, the more people have access to taking it.
Mm-hmm. So you worry about thieves.
Who wouldn't be worried about thieves when you have the things that I possess? Did you not see the eyelash?
I did. It's very impressive.
And he goes and he kind of like goes, isn't it amazing?
Still there with Dag in the room.
Incredible.
Yes, it's within a glass case.
It's totally amazing. Can you tell me a story? Where'd you get it? And what about this? And what about that?
Well, it was an interesting thing that I procured on a trip to Zendrick.
Yeah, so basically, Dag is just going to be berating him with questions about item after item until you guys pull him out of there.
And, he actually likes talking about the things that he's gotten and kind of bragging on how he came about them. So he would be happy to talk about that.
So
And
after about
you
15
would notice,
seconds,
though, yeah.
after about 15 seconds of that, I think we have what we need. Tuck Dag under an arm, start walking out.
Did you see the size of that giant eyelash, though? It's amazing. How did he get that?
He probably found in the classifieds.
That's not what he said.
I wasn't really paying attention. What did
Something
he say?
about charming some giant woman and... Wow.
Oh,
I mean, first of all, that's the story he was told. I don't know how he would have verified that. Second, he hopes it's a giant's eyelash and not some other hair from a giant.
It is kind of curly.
All right, so you guys leave, and so he shows you the way out.
I will leave.
But Solana, you would notice based on like when you were asking him questions, he seems to not want to talk about himself so much. But if you shift the conversation to the things that he has in his collection, he becomes much more friendly in his tone and much more willing to speak at length.
Yes, that. He's one of those people who loves his things but doesn't care for the company of others, unless he can brag about it.
Yeah.
Good
So, are you guys heading straight out?
Yeah, that would be my plan.
Back to
The
Lower
office.
Dura?
Is there anything else we need here? Or should we just head on out?
Just nothing we need that we need to get here. I mean, like, we need to visit a temple. I think it makes sense to try to buy holy water for this endeavor. I need to buy darts, of all things, but we don't need to get them down here.
Do we need silvered weapons? Is that a thing? I don't know. Maybe I don't know that.
That might be painful.
I'm pretty sure I don't need silvered weapons. But my sword is magical. Or hammer, or whichever weapon I choose to use.
That's good for you, but I don't think my fists or shoes are silver. That could be a problem for me.
Yeah, I guess everyone should think if there's anything else they want to buy. But holy water seems appropriate.
Some molten silver to pour over my hand so that I can actually hurt the thing? No.
Some silver knuckles instead of brass knuckles, silver knuckles.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if you have looked at my personal items that I've made, but there is, what am I saying? I do have like brass knuckles in there. It's basically, same thing as a dagger in terms of damage and being a light weapon. It's just you can't throw it, and it counts as a monk weapon because it's a simple weapon.
Okay. Yeah, that might work if I can get it silvered. But then again, we still don't fully know about an undead beholder.
We can, on the way back, wander up the street,
Yeah.
find one of those mangy dogs, and we can use this wand of animal friendship to befriend it and take it with us. Just let the beholder start chowing down on it first.
Would you hurt a dog just to advance your goals?
Why? Are you aware of any kittens we could use instead?
Unfortunately not. Though I do have a pet rat.
I don't know how that a rat would help us as much as a dog.
You never know.
Wait, do you really have a pet rat?
I do have an urchin background, so yes, I do. His
Okay.
name's Splinter.
Can't hear you, Dag.
Still can't hear you.
Mr. Squiggles.
Splinter, the pet rat.
Dag's saying he has his own pet.
Yeah. I've got it in my hat.
What is it?
It's Mr. Squiggles. It's a mouse. It's not really a rat.
Oh my god, we both have pet mice and rats. Best thing ever.
Dude, we just become best friends.
Totally. Oh boy, that's so great.
Kills Splinter, kills Mr. Squiggles.
It was a
No.
suicide. I swear, Mr. Squiggles bit his own neck out. It was a complete suicide.
Like we're not getting that pet deposit back.
Shit.
I would look to see if I could sell or trade my staff of bird golf.
Okay. All right. So, just for ease of everything, you guys managed with Silhana leading. You find another way out. You don't need to go exactly back the way that you came, because there are many entrances and exits to Kyber's Gate and the cogs and everything. So, and Solana seems to be pretty familiar with them. So you're able to find another one that's a bit closer. And then eventually make your way back to Precarious and back to your office. It does take you quite some time, so by the time you actually get there, it's probably like 5, 6 in the morning, 6 in the evening.
Well, I'm gonna walk right upstairs to my room, pull off my shoes, and just fall into bed.
That probably means you're sleeping on the roof, as I doubt we have it upstairs.
I thought we had 2 floors.
I thought you had like an attic. I'm picturing a
make it on
pitched
one?
roof, maybe with some space there, just in the rafters.
Yeah, I think there is an attic. And I think that's where you and Varys might have been staying.
Guys, yep, I'm just gonna go. Yep, fuck it, I'm out. Bye, guys. I'm going to get sleep.
All right, so
I'm gonna
Solana's
dig
going to
through.
sleep.
I dig through a pile of papers and pull out like a tipped over half-empty bottle and just start drinking.
Okay.
Slump down in a chair.
Dagger will be in wonder. It's like, I haven't been in this. I've only seen this place from the outside. So this is where all your magic happens, huh? And what, you have a desk and a chair and maybe another chair, a back
Yeah,
room,
it's kind of a shithole. Like the desk that Sharp is sitting at has 3 full legs and it has like a bunch of papers and books shoved under one corner to keep it up and level.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
But it's sort of precarious. It sometimes slides off of that.
And do you each stay here? Is there rooms? Is there a cot?
There's a bunk room in the back.
Mm-hmm. And then an attic on top of that.
Right.
Yep.
Okay. You drinking already? Then it's so early.
What are you talking about? It's past 6.
Well, he said it was 6. We haven't even had dinner yet.
It's like 6 hours past drinking time started. And by the way, this is dinner. If you were hoping we were stocked up with food, you're going to be a bit disappointed.
Suddenly that mouse is looking very tempting.
I can always get a meal at Track Bar or back at the J Home. If you guys are done for that, maybe I'll go back there. Check in with Nana.
Yeah, we're probably done until tomorrow morning. I mean, it's 6 p.m. It's almost Joe Farr's bedtime.
No, he's allowed to be up until 7 now.
I wouldn't let his mom hear you talk like that.
Uh-oh. That's true. She's evil.
All right, so Jofar, you want to try and sell your magic item?
Or trade it.
Okay. Let me pull up my downtime rules for that.
Downtime again.
So first of all, it would take 1 work week, but we can say that you can 3 days is fine, but it'll cost a little bit more. Normally it costs about 25 gold pieces just to kind of put word out that you're trying to sell something. So if we up that to 35, then you'd be able to squeeze it down to the 3 days.
Okay.
Is that something you want to do?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Did you see my message?
Oh, let me. Okay. So then give me a persuasion check.
Oh yeah. 10.
10?
Mhm.
Okay.
I mean, Dag, if you wanted to go get a meal at your old home, that would make sense. Because otherwise, really, you've got to kind of search the couch cushions here to see if there's anything somebody left behind.
Because otherwise, it's nothing but ramen here.
I think Varys dropped a cookie like a month ago. We don't know where it went, so that's here somewhere.
I think it was oatmeal raisin and Splinter got to it already.
All right, so Joe, I'm gonna message you.
Okay.
And yeah, you guys, especially since you just kind of left Shamukar without getting a meal, which is probably for the best because the food has a reputation. You haven't eaten today, and I don't know if any of you actually have any rations. So how do you guys want to handle that?
Yeah, Dag's going back to the J home, and he's gonna talk to Nana and maybe get a meal out of her.
Well, as a matter of fact,
I did wind up picking rations up the last time we did our shopping thing because we ran out of rations real quick. That said, I'm sure I'm going out that evening, so find a bar that also serves food.
Popcorn.
I'm just going to have one of my rations because I'm completely wiped with 3 levels of exhaustion.
Okay. Jofar, is that something that works for you?
Yeah, that's fine.
Okay. And then once the 3 days passes and everything else, we can talk about that other thing that you wanted to deal with. All right, but for tonight, so is there anything else anybody wanted to do before they get their long rest in? So Dag, you're going to the J home and then coming back.
Yeah, so while I'm there, I would be telling her pretty much the adventure and how these really cool people I just met and the adventure I went on and everything. I'd because I just talk about everything, right? And tell her what happened and have you ever heard of a beholder, let alone undead beholder coming back from the dead? How would you even battle something like that? I wonder. And then we had a trainer at the J home. His name was Crawley, and he was kind of like the weapon specialist, and he told us how to do stuff. And I wonder if Crawley ever heard of it. So I might leave word with her about, hey, have you ever heard of one of these things? How do you battle one of these things?
Mm-hmm. So I imagine she's pretty used to this with you, and so she'd probably be shaking her head and, oh, that's interesting. Oh my, a beholder, you say? But then once you make the request, she'll nod and say, when I see Crawley, I'll ask him.
You're also shaking some dude's arm.
Yeah, probably almost unbeknownst to Dag, he's giving her what she was wanting from him, right? With effortlessly.
Right. And I forgot, where did you get that arm?
It was the Warforged arm.
The Warforged,
right.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. And I'd say, hey, do you have any use for this?
She would look at it and be like, oh, yes, actually, that would be quite handy.
You see what you did there? That's hilarious.
And she would gladly take it. And she would talk about having friends who could actually turn this into a usable prosthetic for somebody.
Oh, that's nice, dearie.
Anything else you want to do while you're there, Dag?
No, that's pretty much it. I'd, say hi to my friends there and that's share my experience and see if I can get any tips on how to deal with this thing. All of a sudden I have an urge to like silver tip my hoop pack, maybe get some silver ball bearings for ammunition.
Yeah, so Crawley is not there right now, but everybody else that you talk to, when you mention undead, they say, in general, silver couldn't hurt and might actually be helpful. They also tell you that there is something that you can buy that you can actually dip your weapon into, and it will temporarily coat it with silver. It won't last very long, but it'll make it just as effective as any other silver weapon for a period of time.
Is there any way I can do that in like the next couple days? I don't know. I don't have a lot of money.
Sure. They would direct you to a seller where you can get that, and they can give you the Boromar discount.
Silver weapons, cheap prices.
Sounds like a good idea. Let's do it. I'll have to see how much it is, even at the Boromar price. So, yeah. So in these 3 days, I will pursue that.
All right.
By the time you would have gotten back to the office, assuming you'd come back, Sharp probably would already be gone, out for the evening. But if you're still discussing it over the course of 3 days, Sharp would say, I don't think silver's going to help you, kid. No need to get silver. Waste the money. Holy water, that's what we need.
Holy water? All right, I can ask about that too. Yeah, so Dag had in the rafters above the track bar, Trackmar is the one who owns that bar, if you agree to this. And I was staying there pretty much rent free, but I was working the streets at the time, encouraging people to go there because they had the best chowder in town. And I was able to go there and eat for free and stay there as long as I was helping promote his business.
Goddamn halflings
Okay.
having to have to work the streets trying to make money.
So you're kind of working for this guy, and in exchange for meals, is that also in exchange for money?
No money, just room and board, pretty much.
Okay, that works.
It's pretty much a squalor lifestyle, right? No heat, no comforts, basically a blanket, a nest, more or less, a hidey space.
But nothing
Describe
Dag's
about 90%
unfamiliar
of
with.
Sean.
So then you'd be staying out there for the night,
Yeah, probably.
not back at the office.
Right.
So, and then Jofar, your transaction wouldn't happen until just before you guys leave. But you'd be out that evening trying to make some contacts with people, and then would be able to come back before that. Sharp has already left to probably drink himself into a stupor and maybe find some food, maybe find some other
You should try the
comforts.
Track Bar. They have really good chowder.
So being in Lower Dura, there's not much indication of the weather, but there are some spots where you can see outside, and you can even like go and get a breath of fresh air. So just so that everybody knows what the weather is like that evening once you get back. It's actually storming out pretty hard. It's not it's only a gentle breeze, but the storm is like it's pouring sheets, and there's lightning coming down pretty frequently, and it's also fairly cold too, probably about only 44 degrees, so just slightly above freezing. So
Nice place.
So because of that, you would notice that along the walls of the tower, there would be some leaks going on, and some people trying to fix those leaks because there's always crews that are working to do upkeep around here. And then
God damn it, the place is a dump.
all right. All right, and then everyone real quick, just check the chat. Make sure that I haven't messaged you anything.
I don't think so.
All right. Actually, real quick, can we take another 5-minute break?
Sure. So what was that bottle thing?
Evil.
Oh, I don't know.
You just made it up?
Yeah, I let the story dice decide. So on the story dice, I rolled a flute, a bottle, and a police officer. So
It inspired you. Doesn't have
Yeah.
to be perfect. It just inspires you.
yeah, so you don't know, but I have these story dice
Yeah,
that
I think
have
I
a
have,
different.
I have the same things.
Yeah, I have like 50 story dice.
Wow.
Each one is unique. So yeah.
Very
Mine are called story cubes.
Yeah, same kind. But so there's a bunch of different themed ones.
Mhm.
So like, yeah. So here I'll show you. So
Very
that's-
nice.
each one is different, and this is stacked like 5 dice deep.
Wow. So you just grabbed 3 and rolled it, or
Yeah.
were you more picky?
I just grabbed a random 3.
Yep. Very nice.
He's like, I know there are 3 dice in here that will be fun, and these are the 3.
One of the dice that I grabbed specifically because of what was showing up front was this one. I was hoping this guy would come up.
Oh, Satan.
Satan?
You probably never heard of him. He's not very mainstream. My computer's laggy as hell right now, and it's so much fun. Da, 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 da.
And how about Mike? How about your job? You were able to work from home? Mike?
Yeah, I'm fortunate enough that I can work from home. It just sucks because my job, I don't think I've told you. I work with Department of Children and Family Services. So I'm a clinical facilitator, which basically means my job is anytime that there's a disruption in placement, a potential disruption in placement, or if there is a psychiatric hospitalization or shelter placement, I meet with the entire team. So caseworker supervisor, if they're over 13, the child or youth, the caregivers, any family or supports, any therapist or anybody else that's on the team, and we create plans to determine if they can't stay where they're at, where is going to be the best place for them to go, the appropriate level of care, because there's varying degrees of levels of care, which go from least restrictive to most restrictive and least supportive to most supportive. And then also just concrete plans that are developed with the team to kind of reduce future instability in placement, as well as to reduce risk of future hospitalizations if that's the issue. So they're 2-hour meetings, and they get pretty heavy, and it's difficult enough managing the dynamics and everything when I'm in the room and able to see everybody. So doing it over the phone is just a nightmare.
I can only imagine. And occurrences are probably more intense than ever.
Well, it's more difficult because you can't really, because of the COVID issue, you can't just
Right.
change placements like you used to.
Right.
There are fewer placements willing to accept kids, and it's just a mess. So, but yeah, I am fortunate enough, despite how much I hate it, I am fortunate enough that my work has not been disturbed too greatly by what's going on. My wife Lisa, she works in a hospital as a medical lab technician, and she's actually doing clinicals because she's going for a higher degree certification within her field. So she's basically doing doubles and it has been for like the last 2 months, and thankfully she only has like 2 more weeks of it.
Yeah.
But yeah.
That's gotta be stressful every time she goes into work.
Yeah, but thankfully she doesn't have too much. She doesn't have direct contact with any of the patients. She's mostly just processing and the orders and samples and all that stuff.
Yeah.
So, all right. So, so you guys all get a long rest. So Solana, you are now down to only 2 levels of exhaustion.
Yes.
But so Sharp, you were out during the night. So go ahead and then Dag, you were out during the night. And Jofar, you're pretty much the only one that stayed at the office, I assume, unless you're going to visit your mom.
Hell no.
So Dag and Sharp, you guys can go ahead and describe how you come back to the office. You're muted, Kurt.
I probably come back to the office essentially like near the start of the business day. But I'm happy. I'm whistling a tune on my way in the door.
Dag was probably already there. He's an early riser too, and he was probably watching for people to see if anyone was messing with the sign. Is the sign actually there?
It should be, unless Jofar has moved it.
No, I didn't move it.
Otherwise, he'd be kind of sitting in, and he's probably gone through the entire desk by now, just seeing what's in there.
I'm sorry, what'd you say?
I said Dag's probably gone through the desk a couple times just to know what's in there.
Okay. Probably just loose papers, mostly unpaid bills that are overdue.
Nothing interesting.
Yeah. A couple of client files regarding past cases.
Yeah, he's more interested in shiny stuff.
Yeah, not too much shiny stuff. That's the whole reason that this job is so important to everybody.
Probably like a lot of like cigarette ashes or whatever the equivalent is. Like half smoked cigarettes that just got thrown in there because we can't afford ashtrays.
Joe, how do you let him live like this?
It's pointless. Tell him all the time, but he's the boss. He can do what he wants.
Really.
So I'm going to be headed out. I'm going to be headed out to the store as I need to buy darts. Does anybody need me to pick up anything for him?
How about some of that holy water?
Yeah, we should send somebody to a temple to buy as much holy water as we can afford. Although,
Wasn't
that is a
Joe's
little
mom?
bit-
Didn't she isn't she good with the church?
That's true. She might be able to get us a discount.
Nope,
Hey,
I
Joe.
don't think so. Not doing it.
Well, we need somebody to go visit your mom and see if she can get you a discount.
I'll go to that church. I'm not going to tell my mother about it.
Oh, the Church of Balinor, where you tried to take food from the orphans and
Yep. Oh, yeah. Yeah. Yep. We've given enough money there. They owe us. It's the least I can do.
All right. So if you go there looking to purchase holy
No,
water,
I ain't purchasing it. They're giving it to me.
oh no, they're not going
We're
to
on
give
the
it
plus
to you.
side.
Careful, they might just give you water and call it holy.
Yeah, it wouldn't surprise me. They're hucksters.
Charlatans.
So the minute that they see you, they would try and have you removed.
Oh,
What do you
they
think you're
possibly
doing?
do that.
Is this the way you treat everybody?
No, just you.
So you're singling me out.
Absolutely, we are.
Can I get some holy water?
No, you are the most abhorrent person that's ever crossed this threshold.
I take that as a compliment. Can I still get some holy water?
How do you
You
really
want
feel
holy
about it?
water. 50 gold pieces a vial.
50 gold pieces.
Do you have hearing issues? Yes, 50 gold pieces.
It's a little bit on the pricey side, don't you think?
Yes.
Are you trying to shake me down? Is that what it is?
We're trying to recover the cost of the food that you ruined for the orphans.
Recover the cost of the food? What are you talking about? There's nothing wrong with that food. How many of them died? None.
If you want holy water, you will pay 50 gold pieces a vial, or you will leave the premises.
And if I don't leave, what are you going to do?
7 of the parishioners and a couple of the other not exactly priests, but the other people within the church rise up and begin walking over as a show of force.
Yeah, you're a gang like everybody else.
I think it would be best if you left, sir.
Not a problem. I'll leave, but I'll be back.
Please don't.
Oh, I will be.
Comes back.
And next time, I ain't going to say much. I'm going to let something else do the talking.
Is that a threat, sir?
Obviously. Do you not hear?
Well, I think that we'll just have to report you to the watch then.
Okay, good. They got my name. They know who I am. They know where I'm at.
Very well. Good day, sir.
All right.
It's a
Enjoy
good
yourself.
day.
Meanwhile,
Yeah,
back at the office, Sharp is saying, so we've got the holy water thing handled.
At least something's taken care of.
So I've got my ink, right? So I take my ink out with my little pen and I write godless heathens right on the door and I leave.
Okay. All right. So, as Joe Farr returns, was anybody else out at the time?
I
Joe Farr
was
was
I was out to buy my darts.
okay.
I was
so
out shopping.
so was there anything else that you wanted to buy?
No,
I think
really, just I only need it for a spell.
Okay.
It requires darts for the spell.
Oh, I have darts if you need darts. All you have to do was ask.
I didn't realize. Actually,
Right.
it doesn't say the spell consumes them, but it does say you have to throw the darts. So I assume that means you have to retrieve them or have extra
Yeah.
darts.
All right. So you find somebody that's willing to sell you darts for 4 crowns.
That's fair enough. I'll buy 8 darts.
Okay. Was there anything else that you wanted to purchase?
No, I think that's it.
Okay. So then as Sharp and Jofar come back, they seem to be coming back at the same time. They also see in the distance Silhana walking back.
Hi.
Did you get everything you needed?
I think so. Did we get the holy water?
Oh, I'm sure that's being handled. But we'll see once Jofar comes back, we'll figure out how much we actually were able to acquire and if we need any more.
Well, that should be good.
And with that, Jofar joins you guys just as you're walking in the door.
Well, there he is. So how much holy water did
Hold
you
on, I
manage
got
to
some
get?
ink on my hands. What? No, I didn't get any
How
holy
much?
water. No, I wanted 50 gold pieces. 50 Galifar. They're robbers, thieves.
That's usually what it costs. Did you ask them for a discount?
No, I told them to give it to me. We've given enough money to that church. They owe me.
Okay, and when they said they couldn't just give it away, what did they offer?
50 gold, 50 Galifar. I said that's robbery. Told me they'd kick me out.
So the primary source of holy water is now untenable to us.
What are you talking about? There's other churches.
Where are the other
There's other
churches? in this
franchises
area?
around here.
Are there? How many churches are in this area?
I could throw a stone and hit a huckster.
Yeah, there's I mean, you would have to go a little bit out of your way, but there's another church of the Sovereign Host around. Let's see which one in particular they worship, because most of the churches of the most of the churches of the Sovereign Host, they pay tribute to all of them, but a lot of them have a particular focus on one of them.
Dag would probably know all of them within walking distance. He'd just know all the businesses within walking distance.
They said I even owed them money because I ruined some of the food for the orphans.
You did what? That's awful.
There was nothing wrong with that food. How many times did you go without a meal?
Many?
So the next nearest church would be the Church of Arwai, who is the sovereign of life and love, goddess of nature, fertility, and the harvest.
Oh, we could try going there.
I'll go. I'll go visit Father Who's a What's It.
Use the orphan angle. That might help us.
Yeah, I would think
No.
maybe mentioning that we're expecting we're going to come upon some undead would also be helpful.
They do support life.
I'd just be my friendly, normal self and maybe do him a favor if I can. Trade favors.
Careful.
With Father Who's a What's It?
That's
Oh, no,
right.
he's a good guy.
Yeah, that's what they all say.
He'll help us out if I can, and I'll help him out. That's the way things work. You scratch my back, I scratch yours.
Yeah, it starts with scratching.
Why are you so hostile to the churches, Joe?
Long story.
And?
And I'm not going to tell you.
Okay.
So I'll go up to the church and talk to the father, and I'll chit chat with him and try to be friendly, use my charisma,
Okay.
and see if there's anything I could do for him. And because I don't have 50 gold.
So it's actually Mother.
Oh, that's right.
Mother
Father Who's
Keeler.
it was over there. This is Mother.
What's it?
Most of the churches dedicated to RY are led by female individuals because of ROI's relationship with being a goddess herself, and also being associated with fertility. It's much more of the kind of the female fertility. So not that there aren't male priests of ROI, but most of them tend to be female.
It's a sex cult.
Most of the male priests tend to be female.
So so Dag, you approach the church. It, you know, for being in Lower Jura, it looks fairly nice, well put together. It's on the smaller side, probably only about maybe 10 rows of pews. But Mother Tilaway is kind of seems to be preparing between sermons and attending certain things. There's nobody else in the church at the time, and she turns as you open the door and says, who goes there?
Hello, Mother. It's your child, Dag Nabbit. Do you have a few minutes to talk?
Sure, my child. What is it that I can help you with?
Well, I've started this new employment, and we were doing investigations, and we were investigating this stolen statue or something, and we were talking to this guy, and he told us about this undead, living dead creature, and asked us if we would defeat it for him, and I'm looking for something that might be able to help us with this, defeat this undead creature. Have you ever heard of undead creatures?
Well, of course, my child. They are a scourge.
I'm afraid I don't have a lot of money, but if there were any way you could help us do this, we'd really appreciate it.
What is it that you require, child?
Well, I was told that maybe holy water would help. Do you know?
I'm not educated quite as thoroughly as some of my brothers and sisters in the church on the adversaries such as undead, but you said that holy water you might need?
That's what my boss told me to get. But if you had a better idea, I'd be open to hearing it.
If you are truly about to face creatures such as this, might be more wise to request the aid of one within the church, one who has been trained to fight such creatures or perform exorcisms.
Would they be willing? Now, this creature's down in the lower cogs. Would they be willing to go there?
Oh, no, child. Things down there are best left alone.
So, I understand, but a job is a job. Well, anyway, I could maybe I could trade services, but could I get a couple of flasks of holy water just so I can do what my boss told me to do?
Make me a charisma or a persuasion check.
Sure. 17 plus 5 makes a 22.
Okay. Well, child, I cannot give them for free. The church does not look kindly upon that, but if you were willing to offer a donation, even the smallest amount would be helpful.
I'll open my pouch and look in, and I'll close my eyes and I'll reach in and grab with my eyes closed and grab a handful of coins. And I said, how about this? And so I had So I had on me 95 copper, 12 silver, and 10 gold. So some portion of that.
All right. So we'll say 4 gold pieces, 10 copper pieces, and 6 silver pieces.
Okay.
And then so you hand that to her, and she holds out her hand and counts it, and she says, I think we might be able to help you, but Dag, do not tell anybody that I've done this for you. Normally, we are supposed to accept donations of far higher value for these things.
Well, if I come across some extra gold, I'll come make a donation. I promise.
Thank you, Dag. I would greatly appreciate it. So you see her go to one of the water basins, and she pulls out 3 empty flasks and puts them in and fills them, and you can see her whispering prayers over the water as she fills them, and she gives you 3 of these flasks of holy water.
Oh, thank you, Mother. Bless you. Bless you.
Bless you as well, child.
Bow and make my way out. Return to the office.
Okay. So Dag returns to the office.
So, how was your trip?
Oh, I got these 3 flasks. I hope these are enough. The mother there was so nice. We really need to give her a donation whenever we can.
I will turn to look at Jofar and say, "That's really good work, Dag."
Ah, thanks.
Gee whiz, that's swell.
I hope so. He's an orphan.
So was there anything else that you guys wanted to try and procure?
Can I apply the holy water just to my hands or shoes or something? Or do I need grass knuckles or something to put them on?
You applying the holy water just to yourself, that wouldn't really help. But if you're believing that silvered weapons might be effective or more effective against the undead, then certainly you can look to see if there's anybody selling wares that you might be able to purchase such things from. Sharp just came from a shop where he was able to find darts. They sell other weapons, and they might have something that might fit your needs.
I honestly have no idea. I'm relying on Sharp's intel to know what to go with here for a beholder.
Well,
I have no reason to believe silver's going to make you any more effective against them. You'll hurt your hand. That's about it.
Okay, I won't worry about it then.
I'll believe my boss. If he says don't need silver, we don't need silver.
You need to make some plaster. Put your hands in them. Then you got big hands. We use holy water. That's how you do it.
The pimp hand of justice. Slap. No, in that case, I don't have anything else I really need at the moment.
I wonder what kind of rays it shoots out of its eyes.
Apparently deadly ones, if the past goblins to be believed.
Well, I knew they're deadly, but how? They melt you. They turn you on fire.
And turn you to dust, and they paralyze you.
Hey, we'll find out soon enough.
Poke it, see what happens.
And how are we going to break that glass? You just going to go up and hit it with your hammer?
Do we have a better solution at the moment?
I was planning on. I was looking for Mike's rules. Did you take your character class thing down
No, they should
from
be up
McCormick's
there.
Folly? I didn't see that when I went to the site.
Oh, you know what? They're not in McCormick's Folly anymore. They're in Hawk's Hermetic Homebrew.
Okay, for some reason that's not coming up amongst my shared folders.
All right, let me get that in your thing.
But one of the I forget what they call it suddenly. The
Heck.
unearthed arcana rules that I think you adopted is that on a long rest you can change your spell selection around.
Yeah.
Yeah, in which case I was going to take shatter.
Okay. Yeah, that would work.
That'll be helpful.
Let me just this, and then so you're on the list for having it shared.
It wasn't coming up for whatever reason.
Uh-oh.
Let's see. Let me refresh.
Here, I'll put it in the chat. So at least for now, you can get it, but then I'll figure it out later.
Don't make me put it in the chat.
That should have the PDFs and the Word documents too.
Okay.
All right. So yeah, for spellcasters that have a set spell selection, the known spells, on a long rest, you can exchange one of your known spells for another one that you can cast one time. So
that's
yeah, so you'd
nice.
be able to exchange one for Shatter.
That's really nice.
And then Peter, I'm gonna send you something. All right. So, is there anything else anybody wanted to do during this 3 days?
Probably just fall back in my if there was no, I'd be pushing the team for so what are we going to investigate today? What are we going to all excited about being part of the team and trying to not liking the boredom. I could see.
Yeah, assuming it was after like 9 a.m. Sharp probably would say, "Well, I'm investigating what's at the bottom of this bottle."
I could see you totally setting them on some BS. I need you to find out what color the trailer was in the next city over, just to get rid of them for the day. And I'd be like, okay, yeah, I'll go find out. Otherwise, yeah, nothing.
Yeah, if no big reason for me to do anything then.
We could be comparing the size of our rats.
Okay, so then you guys will have another long rest, after which Solana, you'll be down to 1 level of exhaustion.
Yep.
And then need to check something. Okay.
Busy seeing how strong he's making the beholder. He's like, how many d20s do I need to do for its attack bonus?
And then, so are you guys gonna do one more night, so that Solana is completely not exhausted, or are you guys gonna go now?
I was going to do one more night.
If we did say 3 days.
So yeah,
One more night.
yeah, I would catch. I guess Sharp would be showing up again in the office early in the morning, or mid morning, in a good mood again.
Not necessarily. He'd probably be in his normal mood. He'd be a little groggy after 3 days.
So you see Joe Farr there, sitting, like polishing that huge axe he has. So Sharp, need your help.
What do you need my help with?
Well, you know all that magic.
Not so
stuff you got?
loud.
What are you talking about? You know all that magic and stuff.
You know how you're the most Joe Farr person in the world?
That's right.
Just be,
It's in the
just
name.
be 50% Joe Farr today.
One does not simply be 50% Joe Farr.
Not dragon. Anyway, I need you to enchant this axe. Do some magic stuff.
Resquiat in pace.
No, I don't think that works. Come on. You got more than that?
And that's as much magic as I can afford to give you. I mean, I can't make
Don't like
your
those
axe,
priests down at the church. Why'd you get so stingy?
I can't make your axe magic.
No, that's a lie.
Permanently.
According to the DM, you can. Just read it.
I'm just imagining he goes into like a pawn shop and he's like, make this axe magic. You got the pawn shop guy going, I'll give you $5 for it. Magic.
So I'm going to take your axe from you. I'm going to put it down. I'm going to cast an actual spell. Your axe is going to begin to glow, and then the glow will fade, and then I will hand it back to you.
What to do?
Hopefully it makes you think it's magical.
It's a mind-altering spell.
Technically, I just cast minor illusion. Cause it to seem to glow. But now that I've handed it back to you, it looks like the same normal axe again.
Well, it's the thought that counts.
Well, do I think it's magical now?
It's up to you.
I don't know, but Dagger say, do my hoop pack too. Do my hoop pack too.
Mm,
So I will make his hoop back glow briefly.
Ah, that's so cool. So tomorrow, is it tomorrow? Tomorrow we're gonna go kill. What? Do you kill an undead? What do you make it live? I'm so confused.
You make it deader.
Well, poke it in its eye.
There you go.
I would
As
have never
soon
seen
as
that coming.
Solana is ready to go, that's when we go.
I'm ready. It's good. Let's do this.
All right. So let me see. What time is it? So I can't go much past 9:30 tonight. So if that's okay, why don't we stop here? We'll pick up next time. You guys will have been able to traverse down back into Gudrun's and then we'll start with the battle with the beholder.
Okay, sounds good.
I feel like the battle with the beholder, it's all been decided already. There's going to be a battle with one now.
I just got to hit it once with my magical axe and be dead.
Yeah, but you got to hit it once.
I believe in it.
At the very least, your axe might be able to go through the glass pretty easily, since it's made for a large-sized creature.
And I won't get a bunch of glass in my hand and leg if I try to punch or kick it.
Any comments, questions, feedback with tonight?
It was fun. Playing D&D is such a nice. So I'm a pretty people person, right? And so being able to get together and actually sharing the videos, actually seeing people, personally, it helps me with my social connectedness. So it's nice to have a game.
Yep. Oh, everyone be jealous of my dice tray.
Nice.
Wow. Looks
Is
like
that
you need
just
more
a
dice.
silverware tray?
Yes. There's not enough spaces for all my dice, so I have my 12s and my 100s in the a smaller box next to it.
Nice. So a couple of things I tried doing a little differently was using different ability scores for checks, because I think that's something that's not really used enough, and I found a couple of good opportunities to use that. And then another thing I was doing for difficulty checks was I would figure a couple of dice that might be relevant to, and then roll them to come up with the difficulty for the check, which it was interesting. I think I might keep going with that sometimes, not all the time, but it was a nice way of kind of making it to where I wasn't just being arbitrary or as arbitrary with the difficulty class. Like a couple of them, I would roll 3d6, or I might roll 2d10 and a d4, and it got pretty good results.
Yeah, I think there were a lot of pluses to doing it that way.
Yeah, I feel like it keeps me honest as a DM too, because it's real easy to be like, all right, I'm gonna set this at an unreasonable difficulty class, even though I have a chart where I have each one of you plus just general what you could succeed 25% of the time, 50% of the time, and 75% of the time, because I'm very granular like that. But
I liked using the skill checks to figure out what was going on, because otherwise walking across the city is you walk across the city until you hit a set piece that the DM has thought about in advance.
Yeah, so I thought that was cool too, and then the way that the story dice came up with that bottle.
I thought the bottle worked very well. If you hadn't mentioned using the story dice, I would have thought you had prepared that in advance, because it was interesting. I am still curious about what the bottle is, even though it was a throwaway thing that you came up with on the spur of the moment.
Oh, it's going to be something big now.
It's going to be something big in my other groups.
Yeah, because I was inspired by you, Kurt, with the way that you handle your overland travel. So I was like, how can I adapt that to this? So I thought that was a neat little thing to try, that I think I'll keep with it. And now also that the Nerdarchy's Encounter book dropped, might be able to drop some of those in at random points.
It also works particularly well for Sharn, because Sharn is supposed to be this huge and sprawling place. Yeah. But frequently travel across cities is, okay, you get there.
Yeah.
Otherwise, it's like days and shit. Well, it's like going ahead and being in the Oberon environment anyway. I mean, the distances are insane there in Oberon.
Yeah, unless you have an elemental airship or access to the lightning rail, it takes a long time to get places. Or the teleport spell. But that's like 1% of the population has access to that.
Really, that's all who deserve it, though, if we're being honest. If you're not part of the 1%, you don't get it.
And the church is going to tell on Joe Farr coming in and demanding holy water.
Yeah. Well,
Oh,
who's
yeah.
really going to tell?
His mom, who goes to that church.
When Joe Farr least expects it, his mom is going to come bashing through the door.
I think of the Howler in Harry Potter.
We have to realize Joe Farr's mom is pretty much the big bad evil guy of this game.
So yeah, so after we deal with the beholder next time, then I think the outside of getting everything to Kalis, it's going to be looking for a new house because you guys are
homeless,
ostensibly going to be flush with cash, and you need to find a new place in the next 24 days.
Yep. Let's just all move into Joe Farr's
and we'll
place.
see. Yeah, we'll see. Well, if that's does Joe Farr even have a separate place? I think you said you do, but I don't know that anybody's ever actually gone there to see it.
Maybe we should stay with his mom.
Yeah,
that's what I'm thinking. His separate place is. He still lives with his mom.
Yes, I do. That's why I stay at the office.
we should just show up on the day of the move and with all our shit and go, "Hi, Joe Farr said we could stay here." Oh, we're great, I'm sure.
You're welcome. Joe, you're not welcome.
He throws her own son out.
Not a problem.
I have plans for moving day. I don't know if it'll work out, but I have plans for moving day, so I'm interested for that one.
I hope it involves Joe Farr's mom.
And then, I don't know if you guys have something else that your actions or attempts might trigger, but I have an idea for the next chapter in terms of the next case for you guys, and I'm really excited to run it because it's something different. Because I told you before that, this is going to be more pulp noir, combat is going to be less of a focus. And, up until now, it's at least to me, has felt kind of like normal D&D. But with the next case, it'll get much more detective feeling. At least I hope. We'll see how it actually turns out.
It is a pulp noir, just with all the shooting scenes added in very quickly.
Yeah. All right. Well, thank you guys. This was the first time I've run since the whole thing, so I was really, it felt good to get back in the seat of things.
Absolutely.
And if anybody has any questions or thinks of anything,
what was the dice rolling thing? You did the YouTube video.
Oh, okay. So a couple of my buddies from college were talking about getting together for a Zoom game of D&D. And so it was between me and my other buddy to run the game. And so just out of the blue, I challenged him to a roll-off, and I made that video. And then he responded and he rolled like shit. So technically I've DM'd one game since before tonight, but I don't really count it because it was just a giant combat because there were 10 people it was playing. And maybe a third of them were new players. So I kind of split the party and I did a battle with one side while the other waited, and then a battle with the other side while the other party waited, which didn't work as well as I would have liked, because I didn't want to have just one battle with 10 people. But But yeah, it was basically just 4 hours of of 2 combats.
Yeah, that's people that don't play all the time. That's what they want.
Yeah, especially this group, they just want to fuck shit up and roll big dice.
And then they realize after going ahead and doing it, God, that's actually kind of boring and it takes for fucking ever.
Yeah.
Yep.
But I also warned them ahead of time. We're doing a 10-second roll where I literally would count to 10. And if you didn't have what you were going to do on your turn, your turn was skipped and it was somebody else.
You kind of have to with that many people.
Yeah.
Mm.
But all right, I gotta get going.
Yep,
You
see
guys
you
have a
later.
good night. Stay healthy, and if anything should come up, questions, comments, or whatever, feel free to send me an email.
All right, have a good
Yeah.
2 weeks.
You too.
All right, take it
Take
easy.
care, everyone.
Bye.